Well, look at that. It decided to work again this week.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way.
Hi there. Mike was worried that I wasn't, that you couldn't hear me. I'm just saying, sorry. I was trying to be dramatic.
No, you did a good job.
Hi there. Because I had to turn off the original sound at the same time as I had to. You know why I had to do that? Because I don't have a button. But here comes. Thank you. But here comes John and Hasbrook and Mike, all to make me feel better about myself. Hey, you know what we just discovered before we went live, everyone who's watching on YouTube? Check this out.
Show us.
I will. This is crazy. Check this out. So these are the two, this is a before and after shot of the participants panel, and which I just noticed for the first time just now. that, here, let me pull up my little doohickey here so I can show it to you. Cursor Pro. Okay. So if you look over here, this is the old, this is the before, and you see we got the invite and the mute all and the more. But check out these new fancy buttons over here. They're longer, they're taller, they're rounder. The text looks almost the same to me, I think. I can't really do it that way. Looks almost the same to me. But I like these buttons better. This feels old to me. With the blue, it doesn't feel modern to me. This feels more modern to me. I don't know. I like it. What do you all think? And of course, you're seeing this is the new, where these are persistent all the time, and you've got the more button there as opposed to having to hover over it over here. These aren't live. These are just pictures, which is why the hovering isn't working. So in any case, that's my big discovery of today. John Drinkwater, how you doing?
I trying very careful not to be loud and break the meters, because I'm really excited as I just launched another show and it only finished like 10 minutes ago. And
oh, really? Well, wait, be a little louder because we can barely hear you. And tell us about that show.
I can be a little bit more excited, can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about that show.
So there's been a lot of discussion in the always comments in the Zoom community forums that they can't speak to a human, and they go on the help desk and it's sorted out by a bot, and there's always frustration. And of course, I understand you get a problem in Zoom, you don't know what's going on, and the first thing you do is you go to the Zoom community forums and rant into the forum. And that's okay. That if it makes you feel better and it allows you to get it off your chest and articulate what the problem is, and then you find that other people have got a similar type of problem, then it's good and it's fantastic. But there's always this frustration that everything happens in slow motion, because the community champions can't be sitting there at the keyboard waiting to answer people's questions. They're all volunteers. Even the employees are volunteers. Even the employees of Zoom don't get paid to be on the forums. There's only, I don't know, Mike can probably guess as well, but I would say there's probably only 5 or 6 Zoomies who are paid to monitor, to manage, and to look after the forum. The rest of the hundreds of people are not paid to do that. So I made a rash suggestion that maybe we should try doing a show. A bit like Zoom Test Kitchen in a way. We come here for problems. I thought, well, okay, why don't we do a show where I can highlight the most commonly found problems that people have when using Zoom? And then as time goes by, there'll be different problems that people will want to highlight. So it's, Zoom Test Kitchen but not the same issues, just the questions that people are throwing into forums. And so I ran my first version of the show today, but Mike and I have made it a discovery. It's got nothing to do with the show. I just like creating shows because then I can go to Suno and write a new theme tune, and I got a new theme tune.
Do you want to play your new theme tune for us?
I might do that. I am probably trifling with you, but I will get the theme tune out for you in a little while.
What is that?
Certainly.
Wait, what is that?
That's my diet.
What?
I'm on a special diet. It's called the trifle diet. I eat one of these a week and it makes me feel happy.
But what is it?
It's a trifle. Sorry,
what's a trifle?
Does trifle translate into other languages?
No,
so
what's a trifle?
It's a mess. Okay, so it's cream on the top, then it's custard underneath, and then it's fruit in jelly at the bottom, and it's called a trifle. And if we haven't exported it to the world, I don't know what we did wrong. So I apologize for that. We should have left these. We should have sent these to you instead of tea. You would have been much happier.
I'm sorry. But did you bring enough for all of us? Because that's just like, what?
Apparently that's for 6 people, but I will consume that in 2 sessions.
That sounds delicious. Why? Yeah, you didn't export that to us. That feels wrong on so many levels that we don't have that. I am trying. Okay, I have a question.
Sorry,
For
I will have
Zoom.
to check whether how long we had trifles, but I think trifles have been in the UK language for a bit longer than 250 years.
All right, so I have a question that because I am now on the Zoom community trying to log in. I'm clicking log in.
So if
And
you're
it's just
logged into
refreshing the same page.
zoom.us, it should find you.
No, I understand that, but why? Like, I'm trying to log in here and it's not letting me log in. I don't want to set a username. I want to log in. Zoom, I found a bug.
I feel a
No,
cookie is involved.
There is a fundamental problem between some bits of Zoom. So if you log into zoom.us, you don't get recognized by Zoom events. You don't get recognized by Zoom community. You don't get recognized by the developer community, which is on a different platform.
Right.
There's a miscommunication that I don't understand between those products, which are obviously completely separate. They just don't pass over usernames. I've actually been able to be logged into zoom.us as one person and be editing Zoom events as another person at the same time in the same browser. It's just
interesting.
It's just weird.
All right, so I'm going to support. And now I want to get to, I have to tell you, it's very hard to know where to go. If I'm trying to get to the, I don't know, it's just Zoom community. See, that didn't even take me to the Zoom community.
Yeah, there is the Zoom community.
Taking me to the Zoom. Now I'm.
David, just a reminder, don't forget you have extra stuff that should not be publicly shown.
Are you?
Yes. Take a look at your logo top right.
Local top right?
Your logo, your picture. Do you see any special stuff with your picture? Where you logged in?
Yeah.
I can see it from
little
here.
badge there?
Yes. That means you're community champion, which means you have access to stuff that should not be public.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, hold on. I don't know. God, log out.
You're all right looking in the questions. There won't be any secret stuff there.
I just want to get to the questions. That's all I want to do.
They're down below you.
Okay. I don't want to start a discussion. What? Okay, here we go. This app can't run in this devices.
Yeah, there's somebody who's obviously completely
That's a good
frustrated.
Question. Very strong echo. Normal explanations don't seem to apply. So which of these did you do? Did you do any of these?
What I did was I did an overview of how to get your audio right, how to get your video right, and how to screen share right.
Nice.
Because that's the if I'd like to boast for a second, if you click on the leaderboard all time on the right hand side.
Experts who John. That's a great name. That's funny. So on
badges,
this, but
badges
this
plenty.
This is on this platform, right? This is not on because doesn't Ray have the other one, right?
Yeah,
same one.
Ray was ahead of everybody because he started early. So I stole his idea and I started early on this new platform. So when this new platform started in January, I was on there following through all the questions, answering all the questions as much as I could, and I just got such a big lead on everybody else now that hopefully I can hold on to that forever now.
Yeah, you've been slacking a little though. I mean,
I've
one
been
you did is
in the
7
last
days
week.
ago.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I was slack for 3 weeks, but I was still top champion this month because it takes time for all the conversations and all the solutions to all sort of work their way through the system. But they've realised my trick, you see, David, because I'm in a different time zone. I can get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I can answer all the questions that have happened overnight before anyone else gets out. And that gave me an advantage. But now I've found that some of the other Zoomies are getting up earlier than me, so they can take my answers before I do.
Yes, and I saw an advertisement there, Mr. Drinkwater.
Well, thing that's happening now is that there are moves by Zoom, and I didn't like it to start with, but actually I'm now I'm now not resigned to it, but I now think actually it's quite a great idea. They're now trying to grow the Zoom community, so it's not just people with problems, but they're sharing the tips, they're sharing the events that are going on, they're sharing what's new. So they're trying to make it a more of a community rather than just a I got a problem support desk. But that does give the problem that, as you showed, David, because there's so much in it now, it is quite easy to get overawed and lost very quickly because there's just so much being thrown at you in one go. But it'll settle down after they get used to it, and I think it'll do well. But the stats are just, well, I can't quote the stats publicly, but the stats are just unbelievable. If I could quote them, you would think I was fibbing, because the number of people using it is ridiculous numbers.
In a good way or in a bad way?
Oh, in a good way. And even though I'm the top community champion, I'm still a very, 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 very small percentage of all the answers that go out there. The community itself solves so many answers in its own way.
Right.
Yeah, people that are on there will just answer other people's questions. And of course, if you're only paying for a free, well, you're not paying at all on a free, or you're paying for a pro license, there isn't the revenue there for Zoom to have a whole load of help desk people answering questions all the time. And that's what the community is for. And I think it does a really good job.
Yeah.
And it wins lots of awards as well, apparently. Every time somebody does is there a community forum the best? Zoom is always up there at the top.
What's the best question you've come across?
Oh, that's probably the best question you've asked.
There you go.
What's the best question I've come across? I think the one that caught me out the longest was this this moving around inside your screen problem, and it's still a common problem even now on the forums, because you've got the ability of Zoom to center you with their feature, their auto frame, but then you've got Macs trying to do their what I always call center stage. I'm not sure if they call it that anymore, which is moving people as well. And I think that's the thing that really confuses a lot of people. So that's probably the question. And as I said, even though auto frame's been around for ages now, it is still, in fact, I think I'm allowed to tell you this. It was one of the most popular questions last month around that subject. So it's still an issue today.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
And sometimes people come on and they're really frustrated because they say, I've turned off auto frame and it still keeps moving me around. And then you just have to explain to them it's your Mac is moving them or whatever. I think we talked about it last show as well, didn't we?
That was one of the worst decisions Apple ever made, was adding that little green thing that automatically, without any warning and information about how to turn off, just applies all of that stuff to your camera wherever it is. It's just it.
Yeah, and because it's behind the apps get blamed first. People shout at the apps. Right. They complain about the apps. They keep playing in the settings of the apps. It doesn't fix it because it's a level below, and that's probably the most annoying thing for me. That,
yeah,
as you say, it'd be nice if there was a bit of code in the Mac operating system, so that when you are taking over the camera as whatever app you're doing, you should be able to disable Macs mucking around with it in the background. Otherwise, you've got apps on apps trying to do the same thing.
And by the way, let me just quickly say hi to John Idelson, who right now is giving us a lovely white moving line, which is very, very calming. Thank you, John, for that. And Tamara
horizontal is on hold.
Sorry about that, guys. I'll fix it to a better image.
No,
we like it. We like it. We all want one.
It's a calming white moving line. I wasn't being facetious. It's very fine.
It's that new app that I turned you on to, David.
Yeah.
Strange on my machine.
It's reminding me of like a simpler time when we played Pong. Or except there the white line moved sideways, so that I guess that doesn't really count. But And Tamara's here, and Roland is here. Good to see you. Hey, Tamara.
Hello. I'm looking for glue sticks right now
Ooh, glue sticks.
because I'm like, and I don't know why. I just have a package of them and they're somewhere missing. I guess I'm not meant to do that. I'm meant to pay attention to Zoom.
This is a great question, John, in which doesn't surprise me at all. Oops, wrong button. Sorry. Does AI, I'm a part of an IT team that's very big on security and privacy. Question was, let's say admin approves the AI companion. If the host does not enable the features during a meeting, is the companion still listening? And it says, no, it's not. Just if the web setting is enabled, it does not. The host through auto start or manual starting during the meeting has to enable AI companion features. When you start AI companion, you're really just starting the transcript. I mean, I know you're starting other stuff too, but fundamentally, you're just turning on the transcript feature, right? Because that's the basis of everything that, I mean, this.
Well, when we were talking about this last week, I was watching the transcript and the captions really carefully. And when one misread what was said, the other one misread exactly the same way. I am pretty convinced that they are all part of the same system, but they just send the data in different directions.
Right. But my question was, the companion itself is really just, it only works because of transcript.
Yes. Yeah. Because they're all, there's only one
Right.
speech into text happening, but it goes to companion, it goes to transcripts, it goes to.
When you say you turn on AI companion, what you're really doing is turning on your transcript. That's it. And then AI companion is able to use that to do whatever it does.
Yeah, but you can have the transcript running and stop companion. So
you can.
I've got my little, I can't remember what that silly word I called it before, but my little companion logo is hanging around and it's recording. I can hit the pause button and it will stop recording for me.
No, but that stopped the transcription is what it did.
Yeah, because it stopped listening. In fact, in other words, it stopped listening.
But that's my point, is that you actually can't separate AI companion from the transcription.
No, because AI companion isn't anything. It's just a program that you're just giving a tool a chance to interact with the transcript. So as you rightly say, it's the transcript that's doing the spying on you, and it's AI companion that then processes the information.
And did David say that we're going to say hello to Tamara or not? I think
I was going to say hello to
me. We said hello. I'm a little jealous of like all of your badges. Now it makes me want to like wake up super early, but I don't know if I have the answer. So I've got to like study up and then wake up super early, like in the middle of the night, so that I could get badges.
Now, Tamara, to be fair, John has officially been classified as a super community champion.
I know, but I want to be a super person.
I know.
Like,
we all do.
Tamara, you were super with the day
it means
you were born.
I've got to like really up my game.
Well, at least you're human.
Exactly.
Oh, and I know that voice. Lois, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
There we go. She was getting.
We had a great discussion last night about being human or being a machine-made thing.
It was a good discussion.
It was, yeah.
Tell us more,
David. He's got an avatar. Did you know that in Zoom you can just go to your video button with a little caret, and right there you can turn on your avatar, and then you can turn it back off again.
Only if you've upgraded to 7. I don't have that yet.
Button click.
I have it on some computers, just not this one.
Hey, Lois, how are you? Yeah, so I'm sorry. I was telling Mike before that I have to, every couple minutes, I'm gonna have to jump up and get the door, and I apologize for that. But so I missed the end of John's answer. I'm sorry, John. But it essentially, I think I'm correct in saying that AI companion and transcript cannot work independently of one another.
Yeah. of the common problems people have is they say that they haven't got a report out of AI Companion on the forums. And of course, they hadn't run the transcript during the meeting. So poor old AI Companion had nothing to process because it hadn't heard anything.
Is the transcript that you're talking about the same transcript that is created by captions?
Yes. I've not been told officially, but I am convinced, Lois, by looking at when they mispronounce and misread things, that they're both exactly the same processing.
They show some different information in the transcript. You see the name of the person speaking. In the captions, I think if I remember correctly, you just see the icon, but they're capturing the same information. They just present it differently.
The names are there. I'm watching it scroll by as we're talking.
Oh, then maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's you don't get the icon in. Well, let's turn it on. Let's see.
Oh, it's on. I'm using it.
No, but I want to captions. Yeah, no, you don't get the name. You get the icon in captions. In captions, you get the icon, and in the transcript, you get the name.
Okay,
David,
so the captions transcript is what I'm looking at. It's on the side. It's scrolling up.
Right. So those are two different things, though. So captions is generally what's below the screen, and then
that's just words. Yeah.
Well, no, it's exactly the same here. So here's
But it doesn't have your name.
Right. Oh. So down below you've got, this is your captions here, and you do have the who's he, what's it, the icons for who you are. And then if you want to see your transcript, you have to go where's transcript? I don't even know where it is.
It's on the arrow next to CC. It's
arrow next to CC.
Down at the bottom where you have captions, there's a little
view full transcript.
Yeah,
right.
And then
you get the name that goes along with it. But yes, these are the same. They're generating for the same information.
So if I am looking at something similar to what you have, and down at the bottom on that side, it says save transcript. Now, is it going to save what I'm seeing, or is it going to save something else?
It saves what you see at the time you see it. So like chat, it's only up to date at the point you click the button. It doesn't save the transcript for the whole meeting. It saves up to that moment from whenever the transcript was started until that second.
Does it save it as text format though, like chat? So it doesn't have the icon. It just saves the text and the timestamps.
Just saves the text and the timestamps.
Here, right. So I just saved it. And incidentally, the save transcript button is also, before some of you jumped on, we were looking at some new button styles that Zoom has implemented, and this is one of them, the save transcript. So I just saved the transcript, and and then I got a pop-up that said, "Hey, do you want to see this in your Finder?" So it opened up my Finder. Here it is, and it's right there. It's a TXT file, and when I open it up, it's just plain text with the name, timestamp, and what they said. Yeah, that's it.
And if you're the owner of the meeting, you can decide whether everybody in the meeting gets to see the transcript at the end or whether they have to save it as they go along.
And I'm impressed that it actually transcribed right. So this is your captions here, and you do have the who's he, what's it. It actually wrote who's he, what's it correctly. I'm very impressed by that. That's fantastic. Yeah. So that's the format that you get it in.
I love AI Companion. I have it set to do it for all of mine, but I have it set to only send it to me. And I love that. Then I get a little thing at the end of every meeting that says assets from whatever meeting, and it doesn't. But I don't think I would want it to go to everybody. Like by default, I would want it to come to me, let me go through it, and then I'll send it out. But I actually really like that feature.
But you can't 100%. Turn off my being able to save the transcript.
I can. I can set in the back if I want people to be able to save the chat or the transcript.
You're talking about a meeting setting set before the meeting happens.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Tamara. I totally agree with you. What I do is I do the same thing. Is I have it AI, whatever AI generates after the meeting, it sends it to me. And then if there's, because again, AI is still hallucinating. Like
Right.
you don't get it gets my company name wrong, and it comes up with different. Again, I'm talking technology words, and there's some words in there. It's just like, woo! It went way over its head. It didn't understand, but yeah, it's getting there. Like once it gets there, and I've seen enough meeting summaries that are like, yeah.
Well, and also it lets me edit too, because there's sometimes that things get said in meetings that shouldn't be on out into the world. It's fine that I know them because I was there at the meeting, but I wouldn't want that to get out into the world where we've drifted into conversation that is not for, where people feel like it's a private session. Then, everybody forgets.
So Tamara, just to be clear, when you, before the meeting, say this meeting will not allow you to save transcript, does that mean you have turned off the closed captioning?
So you can choose to have closed captioning, but you can't save closed captioning. The transcript can run along the side, but you can choose to, I'm pretty sure you used to be able to, you should be able to say, can participants save the chat and can participants save the transcript? Because some people may want to look at it in the meeting. That's fine. I don't mind that.
So yeah, here are the settings. Here are the settings in the back, Lois.
Okay, so you're saying that the save transcript button is gone, but I would still see on the side the captions as they're happening. Is that what you're saying?
So no. Again, captions are so what you're looking at on the side is the transcript. What happens below are captions. Yes, they are born from the same data, but they really are two separate things. So if you go into your settings in the back end and you just type in transcript, you'll see full transcript, allow viewing of full transcript in the in-meeting side panel. That's what you've been talking about, that in-meeting side panel. You can enable automatic transcription for all meetings. And then there's the save captions. Do I want to allow?
We can't see it behind your head, dear.
Well, that's because I have a big fat head. Allow participants to say fully closed captions or transcripts. And then you can toggle that on or off. So if that's off, it's not going to work in this meeting. But if I turn that off, you can still view it in meeting. You just can't see it.
So if I can view it in the meeting, then I should be able to copy it one way or another. I mean, I'm real good at figuring out ways to do that.
Well, actually, you know what? That's interesting, actually. If I open up, let me open up the full transcript in the sidebar. Can you so you can control A it, command A it. You can command A, but it doesn't capture the names.
Right.
It just captures the text. So it doesn't capture who said them, but it does. That's interesting, actually, that you hypothetically just command A it or whatever that is on a PC. Control A.
Control A. Yeah.
Yeah, but you just don't get the names or the timestamps. You just get the text of what they were saying. Interesting.
But if you don't want people to do that, then you just turn the transcript off and you say there's no transcript for this meeting.
Right.
Right. I mean, I'm with you, Lois. If I see that I can't save something, I can still Control A and save it. And I do if I want to, right? But a majority of the people in my meeting actually wouldn't know how to do that.
Well, and I would be polite if we were in a private meeting and there was some reason that I shouldn't have a copy, Okay, but what?
David, there's actually an interesting question from Tony Mobley, who's not joining us as a panel study, but joining us on YouTube and asking us, how do you become a community champion?
You wake up very, very early to beat John.
Take two.
John, how do you become a Zoom champion?
You contribute to the community forums and get recognized. I think that's probably the official answer.
For those of you who couldn't hear him because he was very, very quiet, you contribute to the Zoom community thing, and then they give you prizes and stuff. and you get swag.
But you do have to get up early, because I remember Jeff Wingren was
is
like,
very
"Hey, I want
time-consuming.
to like recommend you for this," and I'm like, "Amazing!" And then there was no way for me in the West Coast to beat anybody else in answering any kind of questions.
Oh,
It's
I
very
thought you meant
time-consuming.
I thought you meant get up early just in general, but it's because you're on the West Coast.
Because I'm on the West Coast, I'd have to get up before
Gotcha.
before John does in his time zone, which is like, nonsensical.
Or stay up all night.
Listen, I'm probably up anyways, but that's beside the point.
Do they reset at midnight?
Well, it's not
No,
a
it's
reset.
just that most of the questions are America-based, and therefore particular people in particular time zones have an advantage, because I can hoover up all the late night questions and answer them before anyone else.
Are they mostly American questions? Is there a way to know that? I think that's fascinating.
They Zoom know it, but I don't. They don't give me that information that I could pass on to you. But there's quite a few people in Asia now. I mean, there's quite often I'm using the translate function, which, by the way, works really well in the community forums. So if somebody in China asks a question, I can use the translate feature and I can translate the answer. Translate the question and then give them an answer.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
It is now totally multilingual. I think it was announced now.
John, what time do you go to bed?
Oh, no, that's too personal.
I knew I forgot to do something this week
because it's don't record this.
I'm just trying to figure out an advantage so that I could get some like points.
Oh, so you're going to take the late night.
I'm going to take the late night shift, the post John shift. If I can't do the pre, then I'll just do the post.
That's
okay.
logical.
Okay. All right. Let's be honest here. Okay. I'm a geek. When they changed to the new forum system, many people couldn't make sense of it. When they first translated it all over and took all the data over, it didn't work as expected. There were niggling issues at the beginning, but as a geek, I worked out how to use it. And therefore, while everybody else was having trouble even entering the forums, I was hoovering up all the questions, answering them all, learning how it worked. And it was a ridiculous amount of time. I was spending an hour a morning every day, and I did that for 4 months. I do not recommend putting that much effort in unless you have something that will be useful for you afterwards. And the thing for me was all the other shows that Mike and I do, learning what the community was having problems with was really useful data. So that's why I put the effort in. But I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time.
Some would say that's cheating, John, but I think it's really industrious of you.
Hey, there's a really interesting question. I'm not going to put it up on screen because some of it I don't want to read out loud, but it's really interesting. I'm curious what you all think about it. So this is the question is titled "Online Safety for Women." It says, "I was threatened by an anonymous person from behind a screen with the camera off during a condo association's last board meeting. The host of this meeting refused to release a copy of the meeting to me. Zoom AI support has been useless. Do I have to file a police report to get Zoom to turn this over?" And there was actually a community manager who responded saying, "We're so sorry to hear what happened. You should reach out to our trust and safety team." But I'm fascinated by the idea that the owner of a meeting is the owner of a meeting responsible for the behavior of participants in that meeting. It's very much like, is Twitter responsible? Is X responsible for what the users, post on their platform? It's a really interesting question.
Yeah, David, here's my thoughts as soon as you said that, is that if the oh yeah, Frank, your mic is up. If you are in a public location having a meeting and the host is renting that room, who's responsible for that room? The host, not the people that are coming.
Right, but no, but it's not about the room.
Well, it is, because
but if someone
meeting is a room in theory.
No, but if someone in that room does something to you, is the
Right.
host responsible?
Again,
Because
the
that's
host
essentially
rented
what's happening here.
Right, but let's take it from the virtual world to a physical world. Right? If you're in a physical world and you rent a venue or you rent a room, meaning a boardroom, and you're having a board meeting in that room, you are now the host that paid that company so you could rent that.
Correct.
Well, the liability is on the host. It's not on the participants. So if the host is not policing the event properly, that is on the host.
Hey, Mike, I've got an alternate for you. If you are in a, if you're talking on a telephone, you got a telephone call going and somebody does something you don't like, is the phone company responsible because they provided the ability for you to communicate? I think that's the more appropriate way to look at it. Zoom is providing a space for us to communicate, but it's not monitoring what people say or do in that space.
So I think there are three different options.
Yeah.
Option number one is, I think, Mike, where you are sort of going is are the individuals responsible for their own behavior? And of course they are, but from a legal standpoint. And then the second option is the host responsible? And the third option is Zoom in some ways responsible. Ray on YouTube is saying that the host has no liability for the actions. He disagrees. He says the host does not have liability.
I agree with that.
For the actions of all the participants.
That's
But
right.
my question, I'm not so concerned. I'm not suggesting that the host has responsibility. I guess what I'm curious about is who should be responsible for turning that video file over? Should the host have a responsibility to turn that over? Should Zoom have a responsibility to release that? Technically,
I think
the host
to whom?
So,
I mean, I think that the host,
to the aggrieved party.
so the host definitely doesn't, I don't think the host has the responsibility to release anything in the same way that I think it's creepy that they don't, is first of all, that's a different issue, right? Morally, if something happened in your meeting, you want to be helpful. But there's lots of things where someone might accuse someone of something and then ask for that evidence, and that would not be appropriate, because I'm not questioning that this happened to this person. I'm saying that there's lots of times that people might want something that doesn't pertain to them. So there are, I think, legal avenues to do that, but I don't know that it would be, I mean, again, if this happened and your homeowners association does not seem to think it's important enough to assist you, that's creepy. I'd want to move.
David Brady is saying online, if it's a board condo and you're recording the meeting in lieu of having a secretary take notes, the condo board should turn it over upon request. That's interesting. The transcript of a Zoom meeting, or indeed perhaps the video file of a Zoom meeting, is and the AI companion that goes along with it, those are like minutes. And
Now,
if minutes are meant to be public or available upon request.
so here's the question. Did it happen in a public forum, like something was said in the public forum, or was it something that was said in a private chat, like someone DM'd this person and did something inappropriate? The host would actually not have access to that. Only Zoom would have access to that.
And it says the way that this comment was written, and by the way, to the person who wrote this comment, hoping you get what you want. No judgment about anything here. We're just discussing the technical side of it. I guess we're not. We're talking about a whole bunch of things, but just that caveat. It's written, I was threatened from behind a screen with the camera off during my condo association's last board meeting. So that could have been verbally, or it could have been, you're right, in chat or something like that.
So if it was in chat, then the host would not have that information. I don't have private chats in my hosting information. That would have to come from Zoom, and presumably Zoom's not just going to hand that over if in fact they have a way of saving that, which they may not.
Does Zoom save all of that stuff?
I don't think that they do, but it doesn't mean that they don't.
I can't imagine the storage that, I mean.
They only save the data that you set in the settings that you say to save.
Right.
And the data is effectively yours as far as Zoom is concerned.
Right.
You know, I host some medical meetings like, and they're on women's sexual health. And how can I put this politely? Some of the images, when we're talking about sexually transmitted diseases, are pretty graphic. I mean, they're medical meetings. These are doctors. I know so much about women's bits because of them, but they're very graphic images. And sometimes I sit there thinking, I hope Zoom's happy and I hope Zoom's okay with us sharing this. I mean, we do have a really good reason, but yeah, if they had an AI looking for sexual images, it would be, the klaxon would be going off like mad. So there's a lot of privacy in Zoom, and there's a lot of privacy issues. And as you say, it's like a telephone company. It's just a complicated version of a telephone company. So you don't sue the telephone company for a bad message. But what I don't like about the situation that was given is if it's a public forum, I can see why the trust and safety team would want to say something, because if it's a public forum and they're hosting it on Zoom and they're letting that type of action, speech being shared, which is effectively, I mean, it's a version of hate speech, isn't it? Then quite frankly, I can't say on behalf of Zoom, but I would guess that Zoom would probably think that we wouldn't want people using our tools if you're going to use them in that way and not protect the people that are in the meeting.
That sounds like.
How would the host know that one member in the meeting sent another member in the meeting a nasty message? How would they even know?
She in the text, it says that she complained and they didn't take any action. So you would think that they would have some sort of process.
But what action can you take? Yeah, if it's in a public meeting, right, and someone did not put their camera on but was berating someone publicly, that is one thing.
Wait a second. Ray Harwood. I just had to say his name 3 times.
So that he would appear.
So he could come in.
But if something is happening behind the scenes, my people could come tell me, Tamara, someone said something to me. I don't know anything. Can you get me the transcripts of that chat? I'd be like, I can't. Like, I wouldn't even know how to do that because it doesn't record for me your personal chats.
And you never heard it. You never saw it. So I don't see how the host could do anything.
Well, I think the point is that if you are hosting a Zoom meeting, just like if you are hosting a board meeting in a boardroom, you bear some responsibility for the goings on in that space or during that time. And at the very least, you should be supportive and helpful of the person, and you should do a little research, and you should encourage them to go to zoom.us/trust-form and fill out a trust and safety form. If you have no access to the chat, which is completely fair, at the very least, you should give them this address and say, I'm so sorry, I don't have access. Zoom may, or they may be able to help you in some way.
So if you don't have access and the person didn't record the chat when they were in it, maybe the solution is for the host of that committee meeting to turn off all chat so nobody can say anything to anybody. I mean, that
Ray Harwood has appeared with his hand up.
Oh my goodness, there's a Ray.
Simpson hand is up and everything.
Oh, hi everybody. So a couple of things. Number one, I am, since the beginning of this year, vice president of my HOA because I've been president for 7 years and wanted to hand it off to somebody else. And so I know a little bit about HOA, at least in Arizona, from an Arizona perspective. Let me say this about that. The question in the email or in the post said, should I file a police report? The answer always is, if you feel like you have been accosted, wronged in some way legally, you always start with the police report. Now, David had up there that page where you could go to trust and safety, and the very first button was submit a request from a legal entity. I forget exactly how it was worded. But we know when we had Jill, oh man, I can't even remember her last name now, from Trust and Security here. It's probably been 2 years ago. They have a team that is on call or available 24/7 to basically answer those things and go look for them. And so the implication in there is that Zoom has ways of looking at things that are not normally recorded, not normally available to anybody who just goes, I think somebody said something bad to me. Can you give me all the records for it? You're not going to get that. But if you file a police report and the police have credible means to go look something up, they can go to Zoom, and Zoom will really go out of their way to help them, I believe.
But please, 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 if you have an issue, don't sit on it. React quickly, because a lot of the detailed data that Zoom has tends to disappear after a few days. So if you have an issue, anything like this, and you want to raise it, please raise it straight away. Better to raise it and then back down and decide not to go forward than to sit on it and not have details. I'll just give you a hint of how powerful Zoom can be. Zoom is very fair about licensing. I know we all complain about the prices and stuff, but actually Zoom's licensing policy is really, I won't say lax, but we'll just say it's very friendly. They blur the boundaries horrendously. You can break their rules to a degree and they're happy. If you break the rules regularly, you can actually lose the ability to ever get onto Zoom. Your computers can lose the ability to ever get on Zoom, anybody using them. So there's a lot of tech in the background that Zoom have and a lot of power they have over their platform if they need to flex their muscles, but they don't really want to, and they want to keep privacy for everybody. The biggest issue I have always had is all these anonymous clubs. So whether it's Healthy Eating Anonymous, Smokers Anonymous, Drugs Anonymous, all those types of people, they have a terrible problem because as it's an anonymous group, they've got to let everybody in without knowing who they are because that's the way those sorts of organizations work. But the flip side of it, of course, is they're also really, really careful for the privacy and the respect for the people in the room. And it's really up to the owner of the organization to make sure that they put some ground rules down. And if private messaging is not a good idea for a group, you turn it off. The buttons are all there in Zoom. It's just, unfortunately, most people don't think about it and don't use them. And that's the end of my tirade. I'm going to have a bit more trifle if you don't mind.
And I would add just a little bit to that, John. I think you're right. You don't wait. The other thing I would say is it may take a while before your law enforcement ever gets around to asking Zoom for something. And I would personally go ahead and file something with Zoom and give them some information. And but knowing that, you know, they're not going to go out of their way to go digging through all of the rubble of Zoom bits here and there and pull out the one piece that says, yes, this person sent you a message that said this. Probably not, unless you really have some kind of solid legal moral complaint.
The other piece of that too is that if something like that is happening in action, then you should be doing screen captures if you can. If it's a digital, if it's like your chat, if you can't save, Control A, like Lois and I would do in a meeting that told us we couldn't, or, you know, doing a screen capture so that you have at least some information. That also is a good thing to think about.
Absolutely. Mike, I'm going to go get the door.
All right. Yeah. And I was just going to actually add to Dave and to John and Ray's comments too, is that if you are filling out the information on the form that David showed everyone, also, if you have already talked to the police, also mention that in the comments information when you're filling it out as well, wouldn't probably hurt that you even get if you do actually do a police report, chances are the police report will actually have a police report number to put all that type of information already when you're filling that out with Zoom. Gives Zoom a bit of a heads up too, that, okay, there is a potential that the police are going to contact us and it's related to this person who's related to this account, right? So you're setting that paper trail up well ahead of time to make sure that you're able to deal with your situation and get the justice that you're looking for. Go, Lois.
Oh, no, when this is all done, I
Okay.
have a separate
Question. All right. Mr. Paskin, are we ready to move on, sir?
Sure, yeah, unless anyone wants to jump in. I just thought it was a fascinating question.
Yes, it was a good one, David.
Yeah.
Lois, over to you.
What? Me?
What
am I doing?
Yes, you. You had your hand up.
I did. Oh, and I have
Okay.
to remember why I had my hand up.
Oh, no.
Wait, while you're
Oh,
thinking,
yes.
look what
Oh.
I just found. Look what
Oh,
I just
look out.
found. I'm on the community champion program. Look at this.
Do
Look
you
at
see
these
them?
two beautiful faces. Boom and boom.
Yeah, and
I
you
know
know
we've
the
seen
other one.
Yes.
Move over to there's Denise too.
Yep.
And Denise.
Look at
Yeah.
that. These beautiful people here.
Yeah.
Just saying. Lois, did you think of it?
I thought of it and
There
then
you
I
go.
forgot it, but I'll think of it again. No.
Oh my God.
Do you
It's
know?
one of
'Cause
Let's do Hasmuk first. I want to
All
get my
right.
words right.
Sweet. Hasmo, go for it.
Yeah, we talked last week about camera on, camera off, and I think Mr. Drinkwater had a lot of suggestions. So I thought I'd engage Uncle Claude and see what Uncle Claude can do for me.
Yes, just so everybody knows, Hasmuth and John and I had a good conversation as we were finishing last week's Zoom Test Kitchen that he was going to talk to his uncle, and his uncle was going to help him out a little more, getting
Yeah.
into potential Zoom development.
So what I wanted, Uncle Claude said, let's use the Zoom SDK and use it in Marketplace and have it authenticated or whatever. And Uncle Claude ran into a few issues. Then he said, okay, let's use the Zoom Meeting SDK. I didn't know such a thing existed, but anyway. I probably spent more time than I should have. Uncle Claude really gets you in a twist. So where I am, maybe I can share my screen and show you where I am.
But of course,
Yeah, so
Mr. Drinkwater is busy eating his trifle and is watching every move that you make.
I don't know what he thinks he's doing. If I remember rightly, Zoom Developers is on Wednesdays. This is Friday.
okay. So here's the app. Can you see the app on screen, right?
We see you. Yep.
Yeah. So the app is in another meeting on my iPhone. Okay. So it's in that meeting. So on the iPhone, they say when you demo, things never work. So I'm if I go into a not besides Uncle Claude, I'm just gonna leave the meeting and come back next week. Anyway. So you can see what he did. The camera on, camera off. Now, because I'm sharing the screen, you can't see the notification. So it sends me a notification as well of if there are several participants in the meeting, it pings my computer and gives me the name of the participant who switched off the camera. So I don't know if you can see that, if you notice here. Okay, so camera's off at the moment, camera on, it goes green. Switch off the camera and it goes red. Anyway, that's my amateurish show off little slot.
John, are we proud of Hasmuth?
I was just going to say, are we getting a ruthless review? What are we doing? John, what you got? That's pretty good.
I use that all the time. There's a on participant call, which you can basically say to Zoom, when something happens, tell me. If somebody turns on their video or off their video, it tells you. If somebody changes from host to co-host, it tells you. If somebody joins the meeting or leaves the meeting, it tells you. It's a really useful function. There's loads of things you can use it for.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically, you just register. It's like you register your interest to Zoom in your app, and it then just pings you a message whenever ever things change. So, yeah, I use it all the time. So, I'm doing a question. I'm doing a quiz app at the moment, and of course, I've got to keep track of everybody because I've got to know who's in the app to do the quiz, and the app's got to know if somebody leaves the meeting, because otherwise it's sitting there panicking because they're not answering the quiz and they've left the meeting. So it's a really useful function, and it's in the app SDK.
But so this was Claude used the Zoom SDK initially to go.
Okay, but Hazmat, you need to ask Uncle Claude now. Now you've got that working, you need to go into the and David knows what I'm going to say. You need to go into the sound settings and ask it to turn on and turn off original sound, and then send that to David, because that's in there as well.
A button. I'll air freight.
But watch out, because there's two versions of turning on original sound, and one has been depreciated. In other words, one doesn't work anymore. So double check with it, Claude, that it's the right version.
Yeah. So this is a very simple. Well, it wasn't quick, it was laborious, but I wanted a simple notification if anybody switches their camera off. That was it. So instead of going through the Zoom SDK, which is required to have your app on the marketplace, with those secret code and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you don't need those.
Yeah. So Uncle Claude couldn't do that. So Uncle Claude
but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Hazmat. To use any of the commands in the app SDK, you don't have to do all the authentication. You have to go through the pages, but you don't have to do the authentication, because the fact that your app is in the Zoom authenticates it.
No, I understand. The point
but Claude has a lot of trouble understanding it, because there's so many different versions of Zoom apps that it doesn't understand it. I actually had to write a generic version and give it to my Claude before it could actually follow what I was doing.
So, I mean, I had no idea what it's doing, but I just followed the instructions and just like a obedient child, I just followed everything that Claude said to me. But I got it to the point where it's working in the simple format that I need, which is camera on, camera off. But at the moment, it's not cross-host. So if I join this meeting or after hours meeting, my app fails. So then it talks about OBF, and I have no idea what that means. So it wants to run that, and I said, just hang on, I got this working. Say again?
John's mic's off. He's
If you want to use the function, if you check the records, I think you can only do it. You can only do a participant if you're a host or co-host. So if you join somebody else's meeting and you're not a host or co-host, that function's not available. You have to be. In fact, I'm actually thinking you may have to be host, but I can double check for you. But so you can't use that. You can't do anything in Zoom apps that you can't do in real life. So there's a lot of limitations. So there are things you can't do in an app, because if you haven't got the ability or the right to do it in real life, you're not allowed to do it.
Let me translate that for you. This app only works if it joins a Zoom meeting that is part of my domain.
Yes, because the authorization code you gave it only work in your domain.
My domain. So if I join any other meeting, whether it's host or co-host, it will not work.
It will not work because you are using it in developer mode, and developer mode is limited to your domain. But if you've done what I said, and you did the same thing, but you did it in the app SDK and not as a separate meeting bot, you would be able to go into any meeting. And if you were made host or co-host, you would be able, I'm just trying to check if it's co-host, but if you were made host, you would be able to use that because you're in the meeting. The OBF thing is being created by Zoom to stop people sending bots into meeting and not turning up themselves.
Exactly.
So the OBF commands has stopped a lot of these stupid little bots turning up, and taking notes when we didn't want them there. And the OBF rule effectively says, if you are the generator of the app or the bot, and you're not in the meeting with the bot gets kicked out.
Right.
And that's why your bot can't join another meeting when you're not there.
It sounds like.
But of course, that's three different issues, all conflating on each other, and that will confuse poor Claude.
I think maybe I need Uncle Drinkwater. So we.
As I said, that's Wednesdays.
The point being that without any coding experience or nothing else, I go through this journey and I get a glimpse. I get a glimpse of what the heck's happening behind. And at least that gives you a little bit more deeper understanding without actually really understanding. But it's one of those things.
But you did get done what you wanted to get done, though, Hesma.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. This is exactly what I want for my medical events. It's working, and it's great, So, and the way it's done is the machine doesn't have to join the meeting. It's just the app that joins the meeting.
Yeah. If you look at a lot of the Zoom documentation, they've started putting AI versions of the content into their documentation. So they are quite openly encouraging AI to read the right docs and make these apps.
Cool.
And Hesma, John's not, John and I are joking about Wednesdays, but yes, so if either with John and I on Wednesdays, or every other Wednesday, they actually have open office for developers. So you could actually come in and actually ask all the questions, and they will actually live fix with you, your code, to a point. They won't go line by line and fix things. But again, if you're having certain capabilities that maybe is not set up in your account, as an example, or some people, and John knows this, that a lot of times it might be account related that you haven't got something enabled that you needed to get done. Was a great place to come in, because you actually have the people that can actually go into the system, go, hold on a second, which account was that? And they actually have your live data in front of you, right? To make sure that they look into your account and actually see if you got all your developer capabilities that you're looking to use, to make sure that you're able to do that.
Yeah, it's
good job, Hesma.
I mean, for me, it's an exciting step forward. Having done it all on my own, and just kind of following. One of the things I learned in prompting is I did tell it, this is all crap. Can you go in? Don't give me a 5 out of 10 performance. Give me a 10 out of 10 performance, and think deep. And it kind of just changes the behavior of the AI tool.
Yeah, and I've actually used too. Sometimes if I want a really perfect answer, I'll say, take your time, do your research, then get back to me.
Yeah,
I'm not in a hurry, right? Then sometimes AI will listen to me, sometimes it won't, but sometimes it will.
I mean,
Sorry, you carry on.
I know I'm getting off topic from a Zoom point of view, but I'm relocating to a new office space. So I use Claude to design the floor space for me and kind of do a configuration. So as I did the adjustments, I scolded Claude in my own little language, which I wouldn't use here online, and it said, "You're absolutely right. I was overthinking to give you a very sophisticated, elegant solution. And let me come back to the basics." Really? So I thought it was
Yeah.
an interesting experience.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times too at my end too, is that, yeah, I've overthought what my answer was to you, or I read into these certain words too specifically, whereas like, no, you're just giving me that as context. I should have been listening to these words instead of those words. Yeah, I've seen that too. Lois, are you ready? Hasmuth, are you done?
I am ready.
Hasmuth is done? Take it away, Lois.
So when David shows us how something works and he shares screen, and you can see his black screen with black windows on it and moving it around and very faint white lettering on it, I have a great deal of difficulty reading that. And I'm wondering if when that's going on, if maybe there might be someone else in the room who has the same information and can post on their window in white. And that way, when it's a white window, I see black edges, I can tell it's easier to follow for some people, myself included. So there's a request to the members of the community. If you have the same information that David is showing on the screen, please put it up on your window so that I can pin you and I can follow along.
Well, I tell you what I'll do. I'll just turn on light mode.
Yeah, if you have one, if the thing that you're looking at is white, then it's visible. We can distinguish it from the background.
Right.
That's
the
one.
problem is that not all of the windows honor that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. Like my participants panel, my meeting chat panel is not honoring the fact that I just changed it to light mode. And I don't.
David, I think they're pop outs, so they are taking the old information, close them and reopen them and see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Let's try it. Nope.
Okay.
I wonder if maybe they are inheriting it from my computer as opposed to, which I don't quite understand why that would be, but let me see if I can.
I don't see a Zoom window there. Which one's the Zoom window?
Zoom is not on here right now.
Okay, so then
Here,
we don't know if the Zoom window is white or.
Well, no, I can. I mean, it's that right now.
Okay.
And I can change the background. I don't remember how.
Yeah, but that's immaterial. You never show us a Zoom window anyway. It's just those. Yeah. Well, thank you. That's a little bit better, a little bit easier.
Oh, wait, how can I hold on? How can I let me just jump in here? I want to find out how to make this change. So settings. Here we go. Agave, Bloom, or Classic. So look at this. This is interesting. Classic
is black
in light mode for me and my computers. I really want to change my computer setting real quick. Let me change.
Zoom has always been black, and I am definitely in light mode.
So yours is black?
Yes, that's
okay.
So you can see the things that are on it.
Okay.
I just want bigger font.
Yeah, no can do. Sorry.
That was for Zoom, not you.
Okay. I'm wondering though if appearance. Let me. I want to change this to light for a minute.
This is a very good point, though, Lois. This really is a good point. I have on my computer that I do this sort of stuff on regularly. I have a separate external screen, but it has a very low resolution. So everything that goes on it is big because it's only a HD screen, whereas my main screen's a 4K screen. So if I share my main 4K screen, you're squashing the 4K screen into a little box. But if I'm showing things off and I'm demonstrating things, I always use my HD screen because it's a quarter of the resolution, and therefore it's 4 times as big
Right, it
when
makes
you
everything bigger.
share it to people on small windows.
I am noticing though that even in light mode, the Zoom meeting window itself is black, the participants panel is black, and the meeting chat panel is black.
And that must be
Yeah.
taking it from your computer, because for me, the Zoom window is black and all of the other pop outs or on the sides, they're all white.
So no, so I just no, so I'm in light mode now on my computer, and I'm in light mode wait, let me make sure that's there. Now where's light mode on my computer? Because I also turned that on.
I didn't mean to make so much trouble, David. I'm sorry.
It's a good issue. It's a good issue.
It's really interesting actually. All right, so
Lois, I have to when I do all my apps, I don't want to go back to the apps thing, but when I'm creating my apps, I always have to consciously tell the apps to make the background white, because otherwise they're by default black and I can't read them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people know that black letters on white are more readable at the exact same size than white letters on black. And that's because the way your eyes process things, the black will always increase. If you had vertical stripes, black and white, and you looked at them, the black would be wider than the white, just because it bleeds over. And so anytime you're using a black background and white lettering, you gotta enlarge the letters or it's not really readable for some people.
I mean, I wonder if nothing that I'm doing here is changing the way Zoom shows up. And I'm on am I on a dynamic? No, I don't know where I am. You know, if I change to like a different color background, I wonder if that, oh, that's terrible.
And it may be, David, that these things are set when you open the meeting and they will change when you close the meeting.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. It's interesting though. All right. Back to you, Mike, for 1 minute.
Of course. All right.
You could unspotlight.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So sorry, I was doing chat and I was doing this and I'm back. So Lois, did David answer your question fully?
It was a request of the community, and I think people heard me, and we'll see what happens next time something like this comes on.
So David, let me throw this at you. Can Ecamm help this out in any particular way?
Yeah, it's a good question. What I'm using to when I do that, when I share screen, when I go like this and I share my screen, this is just a built-in feature in Ecamm called live demo mode. And all it does is it's essentially a screen share. It just grabs the screen and it brings it in as a virtual camera. I don't really have any control over anything in here. Yeah. It's Zoom also here. The other thing, Zoom does not make it easy to share Zoom. Right? Like there's a setting to turn, and which I understand because generally speaking, you don't want to see all that Zoom clutter on your desktop when you're sharing. It makes perfect sense. But if you do want to share Zoom, it sometimes can be challenging. And so I've found actually that having the Ecamm live demo mode really helpful because I can just, with a button bring it up. But you can't, as Tamara said, I can't make, if I make this chat window bigger, I can't zoom in on these chats at all. There's no way to make that bigger unless I were to do the what's it called, when the accessibility zooming on Zoom. So, and that's why I try and do this and, try and show things like that.
I'm not familiar with your program, David. Is it the big part in the back has your face and a bunch of other things? Is that something you can simply drag down towards the bottom of the screen?
I can move anything on the screen. Yeah.
But they're all individual.
They're all individual, correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a paneled system. This is where Ecamm differs from something like Mimo Live or vMix, is that in those you really have just a window and everything kind of fits inside. With Ecamm, everything is panels so that you can shut off the stuff that you don't need. When you keep everything open like I do, it tends to get very cluttered.
And does it have a memory of things? In other words, you can have this set up as, scene 1 and scene 2 not have these things, but have those things. Is that something that can do in your camera and your computer?
So in Ecamm nomenclature, a scene is a scene that I would show you in Zoom. The setting up of the windows here, Ecamm doesn't remember that, but you could use an app like Moom or something else to kind of remember the placement of those windows and then put them back. You could.
So I was just thinking you might have a switch between this way and that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I hear you.
I see Ray has got his hand up. It's bright yellow. Very, very nice.
By the way, that's an interesting thing. Which I think you've talked about this before, Lois, is that my inclination, as soon as they came out with hand colors, was to change it to a more natural color than the yellow. And then I quickly realized that no one can see my hand when it's raised. And so I went right back to the bright, obnoxious yellow. Yeah.
And even if it's yellow on this background, you don't see it.
Yeah.
No matter what I choose, you don't see it.
Yeah. Sorry, Ray, go ahead.
No problem. So here's an issue for you, David, and that is that when you build that scene and pump it through your camera image and we pin you or you are spotlit, we can't stretch that screen and look at it. But when you're screen sharing, we can go up to the little 3-dot menu on screen share and change to 150% and use the hand to move it around and see it large. So you're doing a service, but in some ways it's preventing us from using some of the tools that are available to us.
That is really interesting. Hold on a second. I had no idea that was the case. All right.
That's why
Well,
Ray,
David, you won't be able to see it when you're sharing. If we get somebody else to share, then you can play with it and try it out.
Now I'm frozen in the screen share. That was weird. Yeah, I'm gonna let me let someone else screen share. It'll may work a little better. I'll be right back.
I don't have anything real to share.
All right.
I can share my YouTube screen.
Yeah, I better not share that. That's too boring.
Yeah, no, I've actually got my old demo deck of PDFs that I have, so I could actually share that. One moment,
right.
everybody.
And John's on. John is sharing.
Yeah.
So I'm going up to the 3 dots and I'm going to go to 200%. And he is exactly right. I can move it around. I can see it. I can read it. It's phenomenal, just phenomenal.
But that only works with the screen share. It does not work when he's filled in his camera view from that.
Right, because if you were to just look at my window when I wasn't screen sharing, you couldn't adjust it so that my face got big. You couldn't do that.
Doesn't Zoom now let you, before you couldn't share windows, but doesn't Zoom let you now see the windows when you share screen?
Yes, but you can still blow it up. The viewer can still blow it up.
Right.
What
But
I do has nothing to do with what you do.
No, but what I'm saying is, in the past, when you'd go to share screen, you couldn't see, like, for example, settings. You couldn't show someone the settings on a Zoom window, like it just wouldn't show the Zoom part of it. Now I think you can. So it does make sharing without Ecamm, sharing, in this way to be more effective than it used to be, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And that was
Yeah.
a setting that David was talking about, that you have to go in and check, you have to enable and disable show Zoom windows in
Right.
order for that to happen.
Share
But yeah.
Zoom windows, share toolbar and notifications,
Right.
and prevent repeating window effects. Those are the three fairly new options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have loved those options because a lot of times when I'm trying to guide people through stuff, you know, in the past, you couldn't really do that. You just kind of had to be like, hey, the carrot, do you see that screen? Does it looks kind of like this? So I do think, yay, Zoom, for giving us that. Appreciate it. Love that for us.
And I think the actual change, if I remember correctly, and I'm old and I might have this all wrong, but I think there was an enable disable button before that said show Zoom windows or not, but it would not change your current meeting. It remembered that when you went into the meeting and then you go, oh, I would like to show this to you. You'd have to come out of the meeting and come back in order to make that
Yeah,
happen. And now
yeah,
they
you're
do
right.
it so
You're
that
right, Ray.
it's-
You can now do it inside the meeting. You can do it inside the share.
Yeah.
So if I'm sharing and then I go back to the sharing button again, I can then turn those features on and you see it all straight away.
We see something weird.
Nothing as of yet, John.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
And now we see your controls.
Yeah. So I just clicked on these, I selected what I want, and then I just hit the share button again, and it then reshared under those rules.
Cool.
So if I want them to disappear, I can press that and I hit share and they'll disappear.
I always forget that they're right there on the share screen window. I keep looking
And
for
if
them
you
in
don't need the
settings
share
somewhere.
sound, turn it off. Otherwise you get stupid echoes like I did earlier today. And I'm so embarrassed.
Yes, and John, I have an update for you on that, but we can get to that. So I've taken a look at our
No, let's please
archive.
not get to it. Let's please not get to it ever.
Well, there's good news. So I'll leave the teaser at that. There's good news on the YouTube front. So I'll leave it at that. All right. David is still working on things in the background, so I'll just throw up something that David loves is me doing this, which is if you have any questions on YouTube, let us know in chat and I will relay it to our panelists and we'll get through those answers ASAP in order. I'm trying to do it as much as possible in order to when I get the actual questions asked. But yes, so I saw Mr. Idelson was popping in. He looked like he was playing with his camera, so that's cool. So again, there's a lot of testing going on in the test kitchen as usual in the background. So that's really cool too. All right.
I'm still trying to understand auto framing. If anyone can ever explain to me auto framing, I'd be really appreciative.
And
what kind of
how-
framing?
auto framing.
Auto framing.
Yes.
I just did a show and I was talking about it and I turned it on and off and nothing happened. I turn it on now and look.
Right.
What's that all about?
I think there's a setting that you get to adjust and it isn't adjusted yet.
What, adjust my auto framing rules, do I?
I think so. I honestly
okay.
don't use that feature. So
Well, the problem is that you have two auto framings, one on your computer if you have a Mac, and then one in Zoom, and they often don't agree with each other.
So it's better to shut them both off. Yes.
and then you
Better
can
to
just
put your camera in
move
the
your
right place to
computer
start with.
as if there we go.
Gosh, you can move a camera. Didn't realize
The
that.
manual
See, I should have
framing.
learned that.
Yeah. I had a PTZ camera in on an audition, and Zoom auto framing had just started that week, and it picked the things that it liked the best, which happened to be the two men in the room who were like the biggest, largest things to follow. So the actor would come in and it would go back to my producing partner and it'd be like, who's sitting next to me? Because that's who Zoom thought we were following. Like, no, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, if you guys remember when that feature actually came out, I actually had a still picture that actually had like Zoom. Actually, John made it for me. It was actually 6 people in a Zoom call. And I actually turned that on with the auto framing on. And it actually, Zoom went totally nuts. Because again, I went from this to that picture and it went, Well, okay. And then it ended up going this way, and then it ended up going up to the top and grabbing the two people on the top. And it was like, then all of a sudden, as soon as I disabled that, and all of a sudden it went, oh, yeah, no, you're back over here again. Right. Yeah.
If you don't tell it, it tells you.
It does. It does. And it did it wrong. big time. Absolutely.
I just wish the touch up your appearance option would work when I go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
You go to the supermarket on Zoom, John?
Well, I would if I had touch up my appearance would work for me. Yeah. Because I look much less crinkly. Oh, I haven't showed you my wand, have I? I'll go and get my wand.
Yeah. John's got a new wand that he debuted this week. It's
Tamara, what are you doing?
I am making emoji sticks for my Zoom meeting for my writers next week so that they can all cheer each other on.
Yeah. So definitely, Tamara, you're going to definitely love John's new wand that
I'm so excited.
Yeah. He's adding to his lordship moniker big time with this.
I have a wand I have a wand over here somewhere. Do I need to get my wand?
You might. Oh, even Lois is showing off hers. Tell us, Lois.
Oh, it's a knitting needle with a
knitting
protector
needle
on the top.
I love it.
But it's big, it's long, and I can reach things that I can't reach otherwise.
I'm unclear. I know where mine is, to be honest with you.
Oh, here comes the reveal. Here we go. Spotlight.
Is that one of those ones that you can put your ATM card in and tap? I want one of those. I think that's hysterical.
I went to the supermarket on Tuesday and I called over an assistant who I knew was new. And I said, do you accept fairy cards? She said, well, I haven't heard of that. So she went on the little intercom. Do we accept the fairy card?
You're mean.
And then I pulled this out and I just touched the thing and made my payment. I said, it's apparently you do accept fairies.
Oh my gosh.
You're mean.
But yes, it does have
poor girl's like the talk of all of her
there.
friends. I've seen those and I'm like, I need one of those.
Yes.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There was some teenagers buying some sweets.
There we go.
And so I just pushed them out of the way. I said, no, don't do that. And I just, with my fairy card and chocolates and drinks were paid for.
I love it.
All kinds of interesting things in the kitchen, gang.
We are having a great
You're not here, you miss out.
You totally miss out. I'm telling you.
Are there any more Zoom questions? If not, I think I'm going to head on out and go run errands. I'd go to the store with my touch up.
Now
I'm ordering a fairy card.
See, yeah.
Tamara, take your time. There's lots of different designs and colors available.
Oh, I want the one with the streamers, the silver glittery streamers. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right.
What's it, John, what's it really called? I mean, it's not called a fairy card. What is the actual name of that thing?
I think they just call it the fairy wand.
Really? Fairy
looking it up.
That's
okay.
Other listings are available. And lots of there's loads of colors and designs and whatever. And there's some guys just 3D print them. I think mine was 3D printed.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys some other time, and hopefully you can join
him. I like the blue
on
one.
Thursday night.
Oh, Tamara's shopping. Yep. See you, Lois.
You can get there's a 3-for package for $19.99.
Oh,
but
no.
I do like the blue one. The blue and purple one is probably the one that I'm going to have to get.
Yeah. Hey, Tamara, I see the S of 7B. It's got blue on it.
I know. I'm just saying it's like on brand.
That's it.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Well, the good news is I have almost all of these done and they have to be mailed out soon. Otherwise, people will not be able to participate next week.
That's cool. John, what have you done? Tell us, John.
How'd you get the card out? That's the problem.
Right. You can get it in, but you can't get it out.
Yeah.
As David comes back to Tamara making that comment.
Hey. David comes
Hey,
back
I'll
into
have trust
you
and safety on you.
misreading Tamara's comment. That's like, you've gone to the gutter, David.
I know.
It's just bad.
I still want to do the make it bigger thing. How do I
Okay,
do
see,
that?
now it's just gone crazy. You could take all of us out of context.
Oh God.
They just took
All
something
did
I
was
said
come
way
in
out
and
of
say I want a
context.
See, now
fairy, and now you all get rude.
See, I'm doing a screen share and you can't see my Zoom settings. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, but we already solved that when you were gone, David, because you can
You did?
flip it on and off in the little thing on the side.
Where?
It's a checkbox.
I don't know where because I don't have 7. Because I refuse to upgrade
He's-
this computer.
He's not sharing his screen though, are you, David? You're using eCamp, right?
No, I'm sharing my screen.
So on the screen share, before you push the final share button on the right-hand side, there's some things.
Or
You see it?
yeah. Or
You see
what you
those?
could do now is, David, you could also pause share and you'll go back into that screen too.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Okay.
There
There
they
we
are.
go.
I see those participants list.
Yep. Okay. And you're
Did you-
telling me that, and so now you guys can make this bigger for yourself?
Uh,
I just changed it to 200%.
300. Oh my
300%. Oh my
goodness.
gosh, I have to like find you. Oh my
Wait,
goodness.
can I ask a question? Where do you guys see that?
Well, you
At the-
can't see
In
it
the three
because you're
dots at the very
sharing.
top,
At the
you may
top,
not be able to do it.
yeah,
But you-
at the top where you're I think you would be able to see it. At the
No.
top where it has your tab, where
Uh-huh.
it says share David Paskin's screen,
Yeah.
then there's 3 dots next to it. That's where it changes
Okay.
the size.
Can
So
you
I-
see that part when you're sharing,
No.
David?
No, I can't.
No. Okay, let somebody else share.
Mike,
All right, wait, I'll stop for 1 second.
Yeah, I'll share 1 sec.
So now I need to add a screen share button to my
To the
Stream
Stream
Deck
Deck.
because I took
Yep.
it out because I never
Ever used it.
ever
But now,
do that. But now if that's
Now
what
he
you
wants
want,
to.
you know
I-
what? I'm going to
David,
give it to you.
you don't have to do it if,
Oh, no.
I mean,
I do. Oh, I absolutely do.
is it going to bother other people that it's not dark mode? Is that going to bother
No, it
other
has nothing to
people?
do with dark mode. It has nothing to do with dark mode. It's just how I share the screen. It does it totally makes sense. Share screen.
Okay,
Now,
so you're seeing
Primary
Mike's
screen.
screen, right, David?
yeah, hold on 1 second. I want to share my primary screen. I want to just, yeah, that is. Okay, sorry. I'm stopping. Okay.
You bumped him off.
I know. I'm so sorry. Okay, someone else screen share again. I now have a screen share button. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. There you go.
So at the top where it says Mike Latta's screen,
Yeah, I see
and
it.
then
Yeah.
3 dots, and there you
200.
go.
Dear God.
300, whatever. Request remote control. No, I don't think so. Annotate. No, I don't think so. Follow the
nice.
presenters' orders. Okay.
That's great.
also I learned
that's a-
something new. And thank you, Zoom. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I made fun of you earlier. Or
Ray,
like,
that's a
thank you
great
earlier.
that's a great tip. I didn't
I
know
learned
that.
something
Thank
at
you.
the kitchen. I can go home.
Yeah, that's a fantastic tip. Oh, for the love of God, there's my doorbell again.
All
Bye,
right.
guys. See you next week.
Bye,
I have
Lois.
to jump off soon too. My emoji sticks are almost done. And I have to go pick up something else that has just been completed.
All right, cool. And also we'll say hello to Leo. Leo's joining us on YouTube as well as everybody else on YouTube. If you're still watching us, let us know in chat if you have any questions for the panelists, and
guys.
we can talk about those a little more before we wrap it up. Before this, and I'll say it, where's Frank? Oh, Frank's already enjoying his Victoria Day weekend. It's our official Canadian Victoria weekend, 1 week early to our friends in the US that are having their Memorial Day weekend next weekend. Oh, and Lois is coming back. All right. Cool. And Lois is back.
And Lois is back. So how can you get a button that will click on save the chat or save the transcript or whatever when you're going to leave the meeting? So it won't let you leave until you push that button again. So you get the whole thing instead of half of it.
Zoom
mean-
doesn't care. You can leave without clicking the button. There's no way to prevent you from leaving. When you click the leave button, you're gone.
But Zoom doesn't give you access to the chat from the app. You'd have to have a bot going there to get the chat.
So but if the leave button just and you're gone, then there's no time for your app to go, oh, she's leaving and I'll do this. And that's what I'm hearing
Correct.
you say. That's right.
Yes, there is no way to save the chat in an app.
And is there a way to make a button or something that you would push it and it would do the things like save the chat, change the transcript, and it would then make you leave? So that would be a different button, not the Zoom leave the door open.
If you had
you can't do that
a
unless you're
Stream
the host.
Deck, if you had a Stream Deck running Companion and Zoom OSC, you could definitely do that, Lois.
Okay. But that's it. No apps, John?
John can make an app. John can make an app.
No.
Does anything.
It's difficult to do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to my next mad challenge is I'm going to have my own version of Zoom. So I'm going to build my own Zoom app.
You're going to have
It'll
a
Zoom
John
behind
Zoom?
it, but I'll have a layout and I have all the buttons that I want and not the buttons that Zoom has, and I'll have it laid out exactly how I want it.
Yeah. You could actually get that specific if you really wanted to. And yes, Claude can help you with that. That's a hint over to Haspa. But yes, you could actually. Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
You
Sorry.
need the video SDK to do that one, guys. So you have to tell Claude, I want to play with the video SDK, and you can design your own layout of Zoom in a browser. You can choose which buttons you have and how big the windows are and everything.
And you could write code that when you bring up the leave button before you would actually leave, it would ask you, did you want to save the chat and the transcript first?
That would be cool. Okay, so I know this is irrelevant and it's not a problem for me right now, but if I had done, which I did today, I had saved the chat and then I left and then I went, darn, that's not the whole thing. And I come back and the chat's gone because I just arrived. It is only showing me the current things. Now, is there a way, if I happen to know somebody else in the meeting, that they can do, select all and paste it in the chat so I can see it? Or select all, get that chat, and then put it in a message to me and a note to me. I think it's too big to post in the actual chat.
Probably.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take just a few seconds to run down memory lane here. When I was young, very, very young, there was this movie or a cartoon called The Last Invisible Dog. I don't know if anybody ever saw it, but it was a dog that was in the water, and no, it wasn't a dog that was in the water. It was some kind of animal in the water, but they found an old can of dog food, and on the can of dog food was a picture of a dog who was holding a can of dog food, and on that can of dog food was a picture of the dog holding a can of dog food. And you would get that sort of effect that we were talking about with the Zoom windows that would kind of cascade. And so I'm wondering what the Zoom chat would look like if you pasted in a copy of the Zoom chat into the Zoom chat. Would it continue to
No,
replicate
because
itself
you
over and
you
over
have
again?
copied a fixed item. You have, when you copy it, it is a fixed item. You are not copying a future.
Oh, Lois, you're no fun.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Are
no
you
fun.
are you trying to
I'm
intentionally create
kidding.
the? Are you trying to intentionally create the Zoom infinity thing? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah,
No.
not intentionally, no. She was just talking about if she had somebody else scrape all of the chat that she missed and paste it into chat, could she then get it, or would it be too big? And I
It would
kinda
be
went
too
down
big.
a rabbit hole.
I'm sure it would be too big. But wouldn't that be a place where we can have meeting notes with each other? Can't we?
Now,
That
I'm
would
going
be
to
a
bring.
place that would work.
No, for me, notes you would want to use notes, right?
The new
No,
notes.
to a place to
Yeah.
post the chat so I can see it because it's too big to put in the chat.
Well, here's something that I think we're all forgetting about too is team chat. In team chat is meeting chats. But again, you have to have your account associated with David's main Zoom Test Kitchen account so that you actually do get the meeting chats in your team chat.
Mike, can't you say, I want to chat with Lois? I mean, I want to make a note. I want to do whatever it is. It's not in the chat window. It's separate. Can't you do that? What's it called?
So what is available now is for the newer versions, and again, I'll have Ray and John help me on this, is that there is continuous chat that is, if you are already associated with that person in your team chat, anything you talk about during any meetings that you are with them will get carried over to that chat automatically. So right now, and as an example, I have John and I have David. Both of our chats, because I've already linked them in my team chat already as an external contact, the information from each meeting that I'm in with both of them is part of my continuous team chat. And because I've linked up with David, David is actually sending out after each Zoom Test Kitchen meeting chat archives, which I don't know if anybody realizes that is there or not. But Johnny, come help me. Did I forget anything?
Yeah, and I'm starting to wonder what I want to talk to you about after meetings, because I've realized they're now all in the transcripts for everybody to read. So I apologize about that thing I said about your leg. However, bringing it slightly back to Zoom, a little birdie told me that it is in the process of happening, which means I can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen, but threaded chat is coming to webinars soon. Okay, I thought that was going to be more impressive than it's in my head when I said it, but
one doesn't know what that means, so one can't be impressed.
Yeah. So Lois, at the moment, the chat in webinars is like the old chat used to be. And at last, they are now going to bring the new threaded chat forum. So you can, make a comment and somebody can make your comment on your comment. You can get a thread of comments in the middle.
Oh, so you got this
is coming to webinars.
Separate tabs for different people.
Yeah.
So back to the original question that I came back for. Is there a way to get the stuff I missed to me from one of you?
If you get if the owner of the meetings saves all the meetings and transcripts and then shares them with you.
Okay, that's one way. And there's no way for someone who's just sitting here going, oh, Lois missed that. Copy, paste, and there it is. You'd have to know my email or do it in Discord, or you can't do it in Zoom, right?
Correct. I can't email you or know your email if I'm not in charge of the meeting and can look at the attendees.
But hypothetically, someone in the meeting could hover over your profile icon and connect with you in Zoom, and then.
Yeah, and that will be open in a private chat.
Is there a limitation on that size? If we did a two-person chat, is there a limitation on the size of what you can stick in there? There used to be. It used to be when we needed to put something in, we'd have to break it up into different, sections.
There is we actually looked at this a while back, that maximum character in a single chat message is 4,000 according to Zoom, but we exceeded that. I don't know if you remember, we played around with this and that. So let me bring this up for you.
Could copy the chat and paste it into a message to me.
And then admins can restrict the maximum file size, but I believe its default is a gigabyte. There's a maximum number of file attachments in a single chat message. Maximum number of scheduled or draft messages 300. And this is all to prevent spam, I think, and because of the storage that it takes up. So yes, there are some limitations there.
And Ray has figured out a way to get around it. He took the old chat, he turned it into a text file. I don't know how he did that. And then he made a chat with me and sent me the text file. So it sounds like it's the easiest way. Ray, how did you get that copy and paste into a text file?
So it's slightly more complicated, but not by much. When I clicked save the meeting chat, of course it says okay, and then there's a little place to go find the folder, and the folder finder comes up and shows me that text file. It is a text file.
Okay.
Meeting saved new chat.txt. Now, what I tried to do was drag that over to the chat window with you and to save that to you as an attachment, but it said no can do because Zoom is currently writing to that file. You can't do that.
So you'd have to duplicate that
open it.
file.
Right.
Copy
I
the
just did
text.
that.
Well,
So I saved the chat. Let me, oh, wait, I'm going to do my new screen share thing. Okay. Now, can you see my Zoom windows?
comments and reactions, yes.
Something.
Insta360, yes.
No, you can't. Hold on. Share.
Well,
Okay.
Because I have it set to 150.
There we go.
Right. Okay. So I went up here. Let me pull down this. I went to, let me close this real quick. I went to save chat.
Yep.
Show and finder.
Yep.
Here it is. And now I can just drag this right in here.
And
But
it showed up.
all I've shared with you is a
That's
text
because
file.
you're on a Mac, David. I'm on Windows, and Windows is probably still got a
Oh,
little-
interesting. Okay.
Well, but Ray he's almost got it, because if he can see that file, he can duplicate it. And when you duplicate it, it's not going to be expanding anymore. When you duplicate
But this file isn't expanding. Once you save it, it's
no,
done.
on Windows, it is continuing to expand like it used to.
That doesn't make any sense. If it's a text
continuing
file,
to add to the text
no.
file.
That
Well, at the very least, we know that the Windows operating system considers that file to be opened by somebody, and I don't know who and why.
And you can always test that by going in and looking at it now and seeing if it's got the new stuff in it.
yeah, it definitely won't have the. I mean, I would.
Well, it used
bet
to.
my rabbinical degree on the fact that Zoom doesn't have Zoom can't write to a text file that's saved on your computer with that's just not set up in the permissions.
So it used to be before it's not the way now, but it used to be when you said save chat, it would create a file on my Mac, and then as things happened, it would update that file. Maybe it was replacing it rather than changing it, but that file would change over time.
Fascinating.
And at the end, when I left, it had everything in it. And that isn't the way it works anymore, but that's the way it used to.
That's fascinating. I'll put something else in the chat for you also.
And the other thing that's interesting to me is that it does have an entry in there that says from David Paskin to everyone, meeting saved new chat.txt. It says that you sent the file, but it does not have the contents of that file in the actual chat.
Wait,
it opens it as a text file.
If
right.
you were to click on save chat and go look at the chat.
Oh, I understand
there's
what you're
an
saying.
Entry in there that says you sent the file, but the actual contents of the file.
Right. So here's what he's talking about. I have to go in again and turn on. This is annoying. I want share Zoom windows to stay persistent. Share toolbar, prevent repeating windows. Okay. Sorry, every time I do that now, I have to press that button. So if I'm going to go ahead and save chat, show and finder. Hello.
And the reason that Ray, that I can't do that, I opened his file and I tried to paste it in, and it says you are trying to paste 4,000 something characters out of 1,000 possible. So I would have to put that in as a whole bunch of different messages.
Yeah.
Because it's too big.
Where's my Finder? Oh, it's
You
up
can't
here,
find
for
your
God's sakes.
Finder?
I'm sorry. No, I found my Finder. Sorry. All right, so here's the, well, no, where is it? That's weird. Hold on a second.
It's over
In
to
that
the
folder.
that part.
In
No,
that
it's not
folder.
there. And it's not there. Hold on. Let's save chat. Show in Finder.
Double click the folder.
No, it's not there because I'm in column
That's a
view.
folder. Double click.
Bueller. It's not there. I'm in column view. So it would have show up here if it was in there. So that's interesting. Now I can't even save the chat.
It's the inverse of my problem, David.
Right.
So are you in the everyone or are you in the Mike Latta?
Oh, that's a good question.
in your
I'm
chat.
in the everyone. Good question though. Let me get rid of all these. Just for, I'm gonna delete that. Open it up. Oops. Open it up again. Okay. So now I'm going to save chat. Show in Finder. Why do you think that is? That's so interesting.
Try double clicking that folder and maybe it's got the wrong icon.
No, there is nothing in there.
I understand, but maybe it's looking like a folder. When
I'm literally in the folder.
This
is the folder.
Got it.
Right.
You did double click. Okay.
There is nothing there. That's so interesting. Okay. I broke it.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I was just wondering if that fit there or not. Okay.
Anyway, thank you for answering my question. And thank you, Ray, for figuring out how to get that shifted over. I don't need it today, but in the future, I mean, there have been times when this has irritated me because
a
it
couple of
used to
URLs.
be you'd
and a
save
couple of,
chat,
yeah.
you get everything at the end. So I wish they'd make that an option that you could turn that back on. Okay, bye-bye.
Take care, Lois. Thanks for joining us. Saying hello to our people on YouTube, saying hello to Fred. Fred joined us, and again to Leo. And if there's anybody else there on YouTube, let us know in chat. We'll do a shout out to you. And of course, if you have any questions for us, and David missed it. There it is. If you have any questions for us, let us know in chat. And of course, we will do our best. If you still got 3 Zoom champions in the room that are able to answer any questions that you may have for us, especially specifically related to Zoom and productions.
I have a young gentleman that I'm helping out a little bit. And he has a client, and he got a number of clients. He does good Zoom web hosting, and he's now kind of coming up to speed in Zoom events. And he helped me with my nursing convention and did a conference and did a couple of the production studio things. And his question to me over Zoom chat this morning was, is there a way to make Production Studio create a vertical format?
Define vertical.
You know, like a reel, like a short, like just a video that's
like a true 9:16,
1080 by 1920, as opposed to the other way around. Yeah.
Right. So the official answer that we've been told is no. No, it's a 16:9 production studio currently.
What you have to do is get everybody in their office to turn their head 90 degrees, and then I'm so glad he did it.
Yeah, I know. That was a good one, right? I know. Just don't whatever you do, don't drop the drink. That's all I'm saying. That gets important though at that point. Don't be dropping that. But yeah, no. So Ray, you'll enjoy this one. And Mr. Drinkwater, you may turn your camera on because I have good news for you because we can talk about this now. Is that our first show for today we thought that everybody actually heard an echo live on YouTube. They did not. But yet we did. And Ray's going, what are we talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do you? Okay, you take a stab at it, and John and I will let you know what we ended up finding.
I mean, I've done this many times. I run Voice Meter. Their app's called Potato. Voice Meter, which allows me to cycle certain things through, and occasionally I get something in my headset that doesn't go out. But the other thing that I've had happen many times before with both Facebook and YouTube is you set up a stream and you leave the audio on over there and you're hearing it double, but nobody else is. I don't know, probably something along those lines. But what was your experience like, Mike?
Yeah. So what happened to us today was very, very interesting. And again, this is something that is very important for all the people that are using Production Studio, is that, as you know, right now, if someone shares their screen or does a share of any sort from their workplace app, that the share does not come up as a source in the Production Studio panel. You have to actually switch to in preview the actual share itself to be actually see if the actual share is up and running properly before you actually take it to live. So what ended up happening to good old John and I today is that John actually had a share up today because we were going to share stuff off of his screen. It was a bit of code that he was writing during the show. And he had turned on the share. But what he also turned on was the audio for the share. Now, it doesn't sound as bad as it is, but it is. So what ended up happening was John was also monitoring with that either PC or Mac. And John, you're going to have to double check. You're going to have to help me on that. I think it was a PC. PC. Okay. Yeah. As he pops in, he's popping in and he's hiding to everybody. So you'll see that in black now on YouTube. Yeah. So it was a PC. And what ended up happening was that he was monitoring YouTube in his other monitor, not realizing that the audio for the share was actually coming back. But here's the good news that we thought was happening on the YouTube feed, because we were hearing it within Production Studio, is that we were hearing an echo coming from something. And I knew that it wasn't me because I had everything muted. John knew that it wasn't his mics that are all muted. It was his share that wasn't muted because he had enabled the audio for it.
John was hearing the screen share audio live. The screen share audio was making the trip out to AWS, getting fed into the Production Studio feed, and you were getting the Production Studio feedback, let's say half a second later, and you were hearing both the current live and the half-second delay of what Production Studio was feeding you back.
Right. But the interesting thing is, Mr. Drinkwater, is our YouTube feed was never affected.
But because what John was hearing live from screen share was not going out to Production Studio or the stream.
Right. We were only hearing it internally within the actual, as panelists, we were only hearing it as panelists.
Yeah.
That freaked me out when
half a second, Ray, because it was, what we were hearing was the time lapse of the YouTube. So it was like 20 seconds behind the other.
Oh, okay. So 20 seconds,
really difficult to follow. 15 to 20 seconds is, Facebook or YouTube delay. I was kind of assuming that it was a faster delay.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So needless to say, it freaked us out. And of course, we thought that was actually happening live on the YouTube feed, because neither one of us wanted to listen to the actual YouTube feed live, because we were trying to eliminate that from the actual production chain, because we thought we were feeding that into Production Studio for some reason, but yet we were muted all, John's, both of his machines plus my machine were all muted. And I saw that as the sources, but the only source, of course, I can't tell if the audio is enabled or disabled on in Production Studio is a share. Yeah. And I can't force it to be muted in Production Studio either. So that would be two big things that I definitely would want to see fixed ASAP, because it fine that the person would need to enable audio on the share, but again, there should still be some control in production studio for that share to say that I should be able to mute or unmute it, at least, because John didn't realize that he actually had done that in the share until we actually got to the point in the show that it was just us two on a different machine. And John went, oh, right. I had the share audio on.
That's an interesting concept and maybe a good subject for a feedback feature request. And that is, in the 3 dots, the host should have the ability to mute the sound being shared.
Because I thought you could do that a while ago, Ray. Because I had a friend of mine who'd always play music when we had these timeout things. She'd always play music, and I found there were 3 little dots, and I could mute her, so I didn't get the music. But it doesn't seem to be available now.
You can mute her if she's playing it through her native audio, like through her mic, and your mic is going through, some sort of audio thing, and the music is being fed, and all of that goes directly into Zoom. But I don't think there's a way, for example, you can mute yourself and do a screen share and share audio, and that computer audio from that share will go through with it. And so I think, I don't know, I'm extrapolating here and could be wrong, but the muting that you were doing was muting their audio, not the audio from their screen share. Perhaps, possibly.
Sorry, guys. I was just typing on YouTube to people. Yeah. John, I guess that John, Ray, that was an open question to John, was it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was musing about something. Yeah. And
right.
Having another thought.
It was a musing.
Yeah.
It was amusing. And that's right too. That amusing actually reminds me, Mr. Drinkwater, we did have a request from Mr. Paskin to play the new theme song from the community show today. So if you want to cue that up, by all means.
Okay. I'll have to share with music on though, which is now against my principles after the last conversation.
Fact. Absolute fact. Because Ray, talk about me looking at everything underneath the sun when that was happening. I was like, I thought production studio was doing some funky chicken. Let me just tell you that straight out. I didn't know. But again, thank goodness majority of it happened during our beginning. But again, if you actually go to our YouTube archive, of course, it was directly coming from the cloud. The double audio that both of us heard never existed. So when the share did work, and John didn't happen to use audio when he was actually sharing stuff, so we never did hear audio at that particular point. But again, so the audio that's interesting, because again, if we speak as the microphones, they're live all the time in production studio, no matter what. So that's an assumption I guess John and I did too, is that we thought that the share audio would be also live if the audio was not taken. Oh, and Mr. Drinkwater is sharing his screen. That's just the audio you're sharing, John? If so, we're not hearing you.
That browser tab is really nice, but it's a bit of a big hole to go in when you're going to share a browser tab. You have to go through so many more hoops, don't you?
Right. Yeah. So by request for Mr. Paskin, he wanted to hear the new Zoom Community Forum live.
Take it away, boys. No, just take it away.
Oh.
Here's a strong first draft anthem for the Zoom Community Forums and the new Zoom They type it in the forum, hoping someone sees. Then voices from the community bring answers with the keys. Not just a help desk, not just a screen. It's people helping people with every tool between. Zoomers, users, hosts, and guides all standing side by side. When we share what we know, the whole room comes alive. We're building it together, one question at a time. In the Zoom community, where every voice can shine. Hey! Every other Friday, we bring the answers live, with demos, chats, and problem solving, helping ideas thrive. So raise your hand, jump in the room. There's always more to learn. In the Zoom community, we help the whole world turn. Sometimes words are not enough. A screenshot shows the way. Sometimes it takes a live walkthrough to make the problem fade. The forum starts the story. The live room brings the spark. From how do I fix this to now I've hit the mark. Employees with the product, users with the need, champions with experience, all helping others lead. No one knows it all alone. That's why we gather here to listen, learn, and pass it on with answers loud and clear. Yeah, we're building it together, one question at a time. In the Zoom community, where every voice can shine. Every other Friday, we bring the answers live, with demos, chats, and problem solving, helping ideas thrive. So raise your hand, jump in the room. There's always more to learn. In the Zoom community, we help the whole world turn. From meetings to webinars, events and rooms as well. From where's that button to stories we can tell. Every question matters, every answer grows, because the more we share it, the more the community knows. We're building it together, one question at a time. In the Zoom community, where every voice can shine. Hey! Every other Friday, we bring the answers live, with demos, chats, and problem solving, helping ideas thrive. So bring your questions, bring your wins, bring the things you've tried. In the Zoom community, we solve them side by side. Ask it, share it, show it, solve it, learn it, build it. Zoom community live. Ask it, share it, show it, solve it. Every other Friday, we bring the forum alive.
Just tell me, how am I supposed to follow that with a show?
The energy
Just
level,
talk on
John,
mute.
you've got to be up there. I'm telling you, you've got it hyped up there. So that was the only comments that I was getting from the crew over here, was that, John, you've got to match that energy now after that. Hey everybody, how you doing? Type of scenario, and make sure that HAZMA meters are in the red.
See, I think you need your fairy wand at that point.
That's fair. That's fair. Yes. Lord Zoom here. That's right. There we go. Yep. Yep. That's right. But that was very cool, John. When I heard that earlier today, that was awesome. And I loved it that you had harmonies in there and you had crowd noise and you got all kinds of wonderful things.
Cost
And,
you a fortune, John.
did it cost him a fortune in AI credits? Over to you, John.
I didn't expect the the chatty intro, so I didn't ask for that bit. So that was a bonus.
But we were actually gotten a lot of questions about that actually in our infamous Zoom chat. Mr. Roland Booth wants to know, how did you make this, John?
I'm just clever. Just gonna have to accept it. I'm a super champion.
That
super good.
That's officially true. That's officially true. That's a badge. That's officially a Zoom badge. That's true. So tell us seriously. Seriously.
I'll probably do a webinar on it. Why not? And then I'll have to do a webinar song for the webinar about the webinar songs.
About the webinar song, of course. But yes, two guesses for everybody where you think John got that made. It's a 4-letter word.
It came from Suno. I know.
Yes, but the hint is I do not use Suno to write the lyrics. I write them elsewhere.
Yes.
I've done the same thing. I've used Perplexity to write lyrics for me. Perplexity behaves a lot better to my commands than any other AI that I use. And Perplexity also has history of every stupid question I've ever asked about anything, including my family, all of that sort of stuff, all that history. And I actually had it write a song for my wife for Valentine's Day, and it was quite well received. Better than I could have done all by myself.
Yes, but I'm concerned that Hasmack's just going to go to Uncle Claude and say, Uncle Claude, can you give me a copy of that code that Lord Zoom wrote last week? And it's just going to give it to him. That's what I'm concerned about.
Uncle Claude is young now and might remember, but as Uncle Claude gets older, he will forget a lot of things. His mind will be so cluttered with so much details. They'll be in there, but he won't be able to tell one thing from another, and his short-term memory will start to go when he turns about 72. That's my experience.
Yeah, and computer years go quicker, don't they? So that'll be July.
Well, I'm 75, so I need Uncle Claude while it's younger than me.
That's fair.
Are you really 75? You need to up that little setting in about 2 years' time.
Oh, yeah. The appearance setting, I think, is what he's talking about.
Yeah, just tweak it up a bit more, and you can carry on telling yourself you're 44.
That's it. That's fair.
All right, cool. Please.
And I've managed to buy the only Chinese knockoff Stream Deck emulator that doesn't actually work with the Stream Deck software.
See you guys. Bye.
Asmuth, have a great sleep because it's very late.
Mm-hmm.
And enjoy the fire.
Claude.
Cool. All right. Well, I know I've got my Zoom champions in here, so I will go over a couple of the items that were mentioned on the What's New with Zoom in May, and let everybody have a little bit of thoughts. And I'm going to be more specific onto stuff that we know about that maybe the Zoom Test Kitchen community don't know about, which was related to there was a couple of things that were mentioned on as they looped events into the business services section, which I thought was interesting in itself. Zoom Business Services, which is webinar events and such. So Josh and a lot of the products that he supports. We know this from what Josh has told us, but we'll let the Zoom Test Kitchen community know about this, is the that there's quiz automated and questions capabilities now. There's the certificate capabilities now on the events platform. And we can go into these a little more. And then there was also another one that I know, and I don't see Frank with us this week, but I did write this one down for Frank, was hero prompts for teachers and students as well. Those were the three that we could probably talk a little bit about and let the Zoom Test Kitchen community know about. As the boys look at me strange as if to say, we don't know about this stuff. Yes, we do.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about the certificate piece. The important news about that, and I'm pretty sure that if you read the release notes carefully, you will have figured this out. But people see, oh, we have certificates now, and the first thing is, what does certification mean? Oh, has the Zoom software been certified? No, we're talking about generating certificates for people who have attended your webinars. And the certificates work in Zoom events, but they currently only work in the simplified setup mode. So in full-on webinars plus and so forth, it's not there yet. I think I read somewhere that it is coming soon to Simulive. Yeah, if you've got, here's what some of us are looking forward to, and that is the day when you can have a multi-session, multi-day event and get a certificate that said which sessions you attended. That's not there. And recurring sessions, not there yet. Single sessions, not there yet. Only simple setup sessions generate certificates at this point.
Yeah,
But I understand it's on the roadmap for the others.
Yeah, and Ray, I did write down too, and I'm not sure if it was that it was released or not, but I did see that they did mention the certification in Simula. So I don't know if that means it came out or is coming out, or so I think you might be right that it's coming, or it's maybe they just released it. I don't know. I haven't checked myself.
Yeah, I'll give a look somewhere here.
All righty. Johnny, did you have a comment when Ray was talking there? I saw something.
I find they're just so easy to set up. You just do a PDF of what you want your certificate to look like, and then you just overlay where you want the fields to be, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, it's a very simple WYSIWYG way of doing certificates. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can set the conditions. So they have to have answered a poll, not got the poll right. They have to have answered a poll. So you can set boundaries that mean they have to have done certain things in the meeting, in the webinar to qualify. Right.
So time, polls, if there is going to be quizzes. I think there was, if you do get it right or wrong too, John, it does get that grading there too, right?
No, it doesn't matter if you get it. It doesn't matter what you answer. It's the fact you've participated.
Okay, so it's not that far yet. And making sure that it's right or wrong. Yeah.
Grading.
But it's still better than you turned up for 5 minutes, which would have been, disappointing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Ray's still checking right now to see if my notes actually do correspond with what they said and do correspond with is released, which is certifications in Simulive, which is available in Zoom Webinar Plus and also the Zoom Events platform, of course. Let me just see if there was anything else. Automated lecture summaries. I don't know if that is important to anybody in the Zoom Test Kitchen community or not. but that is supposedly was a new. I wrote down that is part of events now. Maybe that was already there, or maybe they've improved it. I don't remember. My reasoning, I did write it down though, that it was actually its own dedicated slide of automated lecture summaries.
And you're right, John, the certification support for Simulive sessions is announced for the, it was actually an April 20 release. So.
Okay. So it is out now. Yeah. See, yeah, it was one of those quiet ones that got released in April, even though they saved it for May. What's new in May? Cool. There was a bunch of Zoom phone and Zoom contact center related stuff that may or may not be interesting to the Zoom Test Kitchen community. If it is, let me know in YouTube chat. We can talk a little bit about those. There was also some more integrations into, of course, they want people to still use Zoom in Teams. So there was a Zoom app for Teams update, if not something brand new. And also there was an update, if it's not something brand new, in Chrome extension that they're talking about as well. And this one was more related to, I was thinking of David when I was hearing this one, which was related to that there is in the actual Outlook add-on, they're actually adding more functionality between Outlook and Slack related to Zoom. So if that is of use to you or any of your clients, take a look into that more in the community support documentation. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that would benefit the Zoom Test Kitchen community. Oh, this one I thought was new, which was related to, and again, it's related to the video functionality. And this one was specific to Zoom Room, which I didn't know about, which maybe is fairly new as well, is multi-camera recording playback functionality in Zoom Rooms. So it actually looked like, to me from the slide, it actually looked like a multi-view where you could actually have 4 different video feeds that you could either potentially choose during the recording. So it'll actually record 4 camera angles in Zoom Room. And then it's your choice if you want to be watching from this camera at that particular point or that camera at another point.
The
when you're
interesting
doing playback.
The interesting part there for me, Mike, is that the person watching the video gets to determine which view they want to look at, which has sort of been in there before. You can pick gallery view versus speaker view versus screen share view only when there is a cloud recording that has all of those views available. But yeah, it sounds to me like Zoom Rooms has the ability to record separate views from all in the same room, and you'll be able to pick from those as well.
Right.
I would think that that's more a functionality of the cloud recording. I mean, if it's not recorded like that, how are you going to watch it? So it would have to be
Right.
multiple cloud recordings. But yeah, that's
Right.
pretty cool.
So again, something's being triggered either through the Zoom Room app appliance so of course the Zoom Room and appliance has to be able to have, at least if there is 4 different views, you have to have the 4 different camera plugged into the appliance, obviously the Zoom Room appliance. Then of course at that particular point, the Zoom Room appliance software has to be smart enough that it says, okay, yeah, the cloud has to get all the 4 feeds sent back to it. And then during the playback from the cloud, then you have the capabilities of doing that. I have no idea.
Mike,
Go ahead.
But Mike, isn't it possible for a very high res camera to get the full picture of the room and then basically crop view individual people when they speak, and pull that in?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But the slide that I ended up seeing, it looked like there was 4 different physical cameras because there was literally 4 different angles of the room. So they actually had cameras from
Okay.
the slide. It was like cameras were in each corner of the room pointing in. So then you could actually choose if you wanted to be on this one because you wanted to see this person, even though the other person was talking, but you wanted to see that person, you could actually see where that other camera was pointing. That was the impression I got from the
didn't look at
slide.
it
I
that
haven't
close,
seen it
so,
myself.
yeah.
Yeah. But that was the impression I got from that what's new slide that they're showing. But yeah, that is definitely something if Zoom Test Kitchen community could actually figure that out. If you do have any Zoom latest, again, you'd have to obviously be running the latest Zoom Rooms version, which it's at least 7 would be my assumption. That would have this capability in it so that you could actually, but again, of course, too, you would have to have 4 for what they were demoing, you would have to have physically 4 physical different cameras, even though Ray is right, where you could actually have a 4K camera and break it up to 4 1080p's. Yes, 100%. That could be done. But this, it didn't look like that's what they were doing from the demo slide or from the actual slide in the what's new. It looked like the cameras were actually in 4 physical different locations in the room. There was also, I don't know if it was new or not, Ray, Zoom video management.
Zoom video
I didn't know if-
management is like, it's the CMS, the content management system, I believe.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of
this
those things that's got multiple names, but
Yeah, I know. Is this the new name is the question too? Because I was going, this sounds familiar, and yet they were talking about it, and I'm going, that's the that. Well, I always call it's Zoom's YouTube, internal
Yeah.
YouTube.
I think, and this is just maybe like you, my impression of the terms that I've heard used and what I think they're saying is CMS is the license and video management is the whole concept. And so like Zoom events is the concept, but the hub is where you actually have to start with putting events into. Yeah, kind of
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And the only other one that I did see that we had related to video was shared video library, which was that all people within your licensing domain actually have access to a shared video library should you want to give out shared videos to access to people. I didn't understand that fully. You're in the same boat I was? Yeah.
I was zoned out by there. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's something
understood.
I really want to hear about.
Yeah, right. So the impression I got on that was that basically if I gave all access to all my employees to a shared video library, that they could actually have their, in our situation would be one of our dealers. Let's say I had specific brand videos that I've uploaded to the shared video library on the Zoom platform. I could actually have my salespeople give access to our dealers for them to come and watch the video on the video management / CMS. I think. I haven't tried it, but that was the impression I got on that without them getting into more details of what that was all about. But if that is what it is, that would be okay. I could see it. Where if it was an old webinar that maybe has been around for a bit, that is still relevant, and you would want your salesperson to give that new dealer or older dealer that didn't happen to be around to actually access it to see it, I could see it for our use case. I'm not a fan, as Ray and I have already had conversations about, of their storage costs right now. But when it comes to, as he's smiling at me, but again, that's a different story. But if I did like their storage and I was storing a lot of stuff there, I would probably.
If you're an enterprise user, you'll really like it. Us
Right.
tier 0 people, yeah.
We don't. Yeah, we're not even close to being Zoom Enterprise. Absolutely. I haven't got enough employees to be Zoom Enterprise officially, as far as Zoom's numbers are concerned, either, for that matter. Okay. I think that's about anything that I saw. Ray, did you see? I think you're on that as well, right? Then
I was in there.
Did
I
you see
took a couple
anything
of
that was
notes,
exciting to
but
you?
nothing really grabbed me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Not
mean, I have to
besides
say,
the stuff that we already knew, correct?
yeah, I
Yeah.
was a little harsh in the survey at the end. The first guy's presentation of the general workplace stuff was 95% sales job on how great all the Zoom products are, and just a little teeny bit of the new stuff. And
Yeah.
my brain was worn out by the time we got to the other two guys who I thought did great job of
Yeah.
good, like, here's a product and here's what it does. Let me tell you the things we added to it, which was what I had hoped the first guy would do, but I
Yeah.
didn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe, yeah, that was Rod, right? When Rod started talking? I think his name is Rod. I'm giving a shout out to Rod. I think that was the person's name, but yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was just a little disappointed at how that first part flowed. For me,
Yeah.
it wasn't what I was
Tot-
hoping.
I totally agree with you. Even though I was writing down, headlines from each individual slide as I was doing there, and that's why I was referencing my notes from that actual meeting. But you're right. A lot of it was like, yeah, okay. Again, because Ray, John, and I are all community champions. We already know a lot of this stuff already. So, but there wasn't any shockers to us that we didn't already know. Let's put it that way. But there was certain things that I wanted to make sure that I wrote down for the Zoom Test Kitchen community to make sure that you guys knew about all the new stuff that are coming out, especially considering that we can, as us three, can also talk about them now publicly. Cool. So Ray, busy week besides?
I spent some time with my accountant yesterday, which is, I've got to get my taxes all finished.
I was going to say tax season. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, tax season was over April the 15th, but I filed the extension, and that's kind of how I roll. But at any rate, she asked me if I was busy, and the answer is, I feel really good that the nursing conference was over, because that was pretty stressful for me for the amount of time that I had to put into it.
Yep.
And so I do have, I want to say 3, maybe 4 consulting gigs that go now through October.
Good.
And they are, I want to say 3 of them are return clients, and one of them is a new client. I mentioned, someone that I'm helping a little bit, and the 2 of us are providing some support to this event that's actually going on in September. I don't want to mention the client or a whole lot about what they do, but the initial conversation that I had was that this client wanted to have a Zoom Events Expo. And I was like, oh,
Right.
okay, that's really cool. I've never really had anybody go, I really want a Zoom Events Expo. Most of my clients, no, we're not doing that. And I've talked to some people who've enjoyed having the Zoom Events Expo open and have done okay with it. But I think most of us who are in the Zoom events space know that the feedback on the Zoom Events Expo has not been stellar. There have been a couple of tweaks and improvements, but they have not done to Zoom Expo what they've done in a lot of other places. They're beefing up all of the Webinars Plus stuff. They're beefing up all of the video content management stuff. Other than making the floor layout both physical and directory like, there are 2 ways of looking at the expo floor now, and I think the default is the directory, because nobody likes scooting their little icon around the floor to go find something, because that's the way we do it in a regular conference. It's like, I don't have the map, and I know that the XYZ company is in here somewhere. Let's just walk the floor till we find them. That's not the way to do it. But I had to ask a couple of questions, and I got a couple of answers. How many vendors are you expecting, and how many attendees are you expecting? And the answer I got was, we're thinking, we're hoping to have 30 vendors and about 5,000 attendees. And I had to, I wish I had a red flag around here somewhere. Let's see. Here's my yellow flag.
Uh-huh.
The answer
Must
is
make a
no.
red flag.
I'm going to have to. There you go. The answer
Yeah.
is no, you can't do it. Does anybody know why? Anybody want to take a guess why?
Oh, that's a good teaser. YouTube chat. Let us know before Ray gives it away. Zoom chat, of course. Anybody that's still with us. Well, again,
we are not going to be able to use the Zoom Events Expo feature because fill in the blank. Anyway. Ready, Mike?
nobody's giving us anything, Ray. Let's go for it. Let's let him off the hook.
Because the fire marshal says you can't have more than 1,500 people on the expo floor at one time.
Yeah. And Ray was very specific on the fire marshal scenario.
That's my like a regular conference hall, up on the side, maximum occupancy 1,500.
Right.
Yep. So here's what we're actually doing. We're actually having a presentation session to begin with, and then we're going to have 30 concurrent sessions that people can wander into and out of for as long as they would like. And then there will be another presentation session after that. So that multiple concurrent sessions expo is like having a linear lineup of all of your expo sponsors and exhibitors, but you'll be able to walk straight into any one of them that you want.
So if I'm visualizing this on the tech side, Ray, I'm visualizing Webinar Plus and 30 Zoom meetings, then a Webinar Plus at the end.
Well, it's going to be a multi-session Zoom event. And inside that, there will be a webinar and 30 meetings and then a webinar. Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So per session. Did I do that right?
By per session.
Yeah. No, say it again. So you're doing a Webinar Plus, then you're doing 30 meetings, then you're doing a Webinar Plus, and you said something else besides that.
Well, it's a multi-day. It's actually going to be one day, but it is a multi-day, multi-session event. It is not a Webinars Plus event, because a Webinars Plus event can only have a webinar or a recurring series of webinars. And, like my nursing conference that went for 2 days and multiple concurrent things, like the New Zealand event where they had multiple things. This is, it's one package. You go into the lobby, you'll see the very first session. Everyone will pile in there and go hear this guy speak, top-notch speaker in that particular business area. And then, okay, everybody, we're going to have, we haven't decided how long exactly, an hour or two for people to be able to wander the floor and go talk to whoever you want to have. The idea in Zoom events is you would have access to the lobby a couple of weeks ahead of time and be able to go look at each of the vendors and bookmark each vendor that you really wanted to go talk to, and then be able to look at your itinerary in Zoom events to just see, oh, I wanted to talk to these 5 guys. And so I'm going to go into them 10 minutes a piece, ask my questions, pick up my PDF documents. Every time you go in and talk to somebody in the expo hall, you get swag that goes in the bag, right?
Right.
So for those rooms, there'll be PDF files that you can pick up as well. And then at the tail end of that, a longer session that has some, you know, sponsor type presentations, but kind of all back to back to back, you know, serial. Yeah.
Right. So Ray, I'm going to throw this out there because people will say this. So why is Ray doing 30 meetings instead of doing one meeting with 30 breakout rooms?
Because you run into real issues if you want to have all 5,000 people come into the meeting and then pick from a list of 30 rooms, and some people who are novice to Zoom meetings and events don't really understand well how to navigate from room to room in a breakout room session. But if you had them all individual sessions with their own join button, you can just go click join and you're in, and you're talking to Fred Smith, the head sales of XYZ company, and you're there. When you're done, you can click exit. You're back out in the lobby, and you can click on the next company on your list and go right straight in there. It's really simplified for the user experience, not for us making the event.
Right. Which makes, and again, it makes perfect sense, but I had to go down that road because people will, of course, not use the events platform, and they would actually just make 3 meetings where the first one is a meeting, not even webinar plus. They make the second one a meeting and have 30 breakout rooms. And then they make the last one its own meeting again, not webinar, right? This is, I've dealt with a lot of clients that have that mentality too, is that, oh, I can do everything in the meeting.
Yeah. You know,
that's why I brought that up.
Around 5,000 attendees, and you're going to have about 30 vendors. If they all evenly spread themselves out, you know, that's still, gosh, now I can't even do the math in my head. You know, well over what, potentially 200 or 300 people per room.
Yep.
Which is still a lot, but the idea, I think, and we haven't really fleshed this out, but I've got a test event that I've created where I've used AI to generate fictitious names of companies and all that sort of stuff. And I've made, out of the 30, I've made 5 of them webinars. Because what we would do is take those premier sponsor people who are going to see a lot of people come into their session, and I think they would be better off to make theirs a webinar and potentially use breakout rooms from the webinar, but be able to more focusedly talk about their product. And if you want to go talk to sales or technical or somebody like that, you can go into the breakout rooms for them. But the other ones who are going to have 20 or 30 people, maybe 50 max at a time, that's a little easier crowd to deal with. And some people are just there as looky-loos, and they want to hear the questions that other people are asking and that sort of stuff. So I think that sort of hybrid, but not hybrid, hybrid approach to webinars for the really big expected crowds, and then meetings for the smaller crowds, I think it will work really well for this client.
Yeah. And are they used to doing things either hybrid or strictly online? Because I have a suggestion.
Everything that they have done so far has been online. They've been using Webinars Plus, and they've not had quite this large of an expectation of attendees in, you know, something really big with a lot of sponsors and that sort of thing. But they've had many educational sessions, you know, a couple a month, and, you know, really good turnout for those as well. I mean, hundreds, not thousands.
Yeah, because here's my scenario that I just thought of too. When you said that you're going to actually have 5 webinars as well, I would actually use the terminology that people are familiar with, as in stages, meaning that, you know, seminar stage 1, seminar stage 2, seminar stage 3 type of scenario, where you could actually, if you wanted to, have them trade off, meaning that you have a brand go up there for an hour. Then you know, it could be that people just go into that stage and stay in that stage because they might not want to go meet the actual vendor in their room, right?
Yeah.
So again, I've seen that as well in person.
Yeah, I think that is where they are headed with that second session, is to then have individual sponsors come in and speak for 10 minutes per sponsor. If you're one of the primary sponsors, maybe you get 20 minutes. That's still kind of being fleshed out.
Yep.
But I think that's the intent, is that let's let people go in and sort of get their initial questions answered in the individual sessions, and then people can come in and we haven't settled on this yet because it's not until September. We've got time.
Yeah.
Thank God, for a client that comes to you, months before their deadline and goes,
Yeah,
I
not-
didn't have time to plan this, right?
Yeah. Not days, if not hours. Yeah, exactly.
Right, right. So I think the idea is to tell the vendors, if you've got salespeople that will stay in your individual meetings past the start time of that second webinar session, there'll be people who would rather be talking to you than maybe being in that session. And
Right.
there might be people who would come into that session and hear your guy talk for 10 minutes and go, oh, I didn't go to QRX booth meeting. I want to go there now. And then they'll hop out of there and go talk to them to get more direct information. It's much more conference like. You get to pick where you want to go and who you want to talk to.
Right. Exactly. That's why I was saying that people might not necessarily want to go into each individual vendor's room.
Yeah.
They might just want to go to a stage that they know that all the vendors are going to come here eventually and just sit there, or AKA virtually sit there, in their comfy seat, and know that they're going to get bombarded by vendor after vendor after vendor off of this stage. And maybe this stage is themed to only be vendors that are having XYZ category, let's say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That could also be, you could also theme it in that way too, right? Would be another suggestion. Again, I'm just taking this from a lot of the large trade shows that we've either been in as a booth or we've actually attended to actually assist either our brands or even to actually just have the show walking around the show. So that's a lot of the stuff that we'll see there too, is that there'll be they're not necessarily breakout rooms, but basically they are their own little banquet hall within the actual large, example would be like the Las Vegas Convention Center scenario, where you've got hundreds of rooms in there, but you also have the main trade show floor as well, right?
It's not room A1, A2, A3, or B2, B3, B4, but it's, the New Orleans salon. It's the Atlanta salon. It's everybody has different naming schemes for their salons, which are a little bit larger and a little bit more stagey and that sort of thing. So yeah.
And cool. doing it this way, to be honest, and I'm loving that you're doing it meeting wise versus breakout rooms. It gives it more of a premium for that your clients' vendors as well, that they know that they have their own dedicated Zoom meeting that is theirs for the whole event. They can do whatever they want in it, and it's up to them then at that point, if they want to underutilize it, that's their own fault at that particular point.
Right.
Or they can actually get really.
You end up on the conference room floor, and the guys next to you have like the spinning wheel to win prizes and all that sort of stuff. And everybody walks by your thing and goes right straight over to there. They wave at you as they go by.
Right.
But these guys now each have their own place, and hopefully people would be able to pick, kind of looking at them in advance. Oh yeah, I'm interested in this and this, and I don't really care about that or that. And put those on there.
And this is actually becoming more and more popular now. It's always been around, but it's becoming more and more popular now, which is what we're starting to see, which is being called in our trade shows is called demo rooms, where they can make as much noise as they want, however want, whenever they want in that room. That room is theirs, right? And that's exactly what you're basically giving your client, the layout of that vendor can do whatever they want in their room, as if they had their own physical room at the trade show location, and they can do whatever they want in that room. And also suggest too, is that if that vendor is presenting in that stage XYZ, to actually bring that feed back into that room as well when it's actually performing live. Of course, it's a little techie in the back end, but
Yeah.
that you
Well,
could
well,
always.
the other thing
that's there too.
that I've been thinking about is that once they start that second webinar session, is we would live stream that to the lobby, so people wouldn't even have to come in. They could watch that just from the lobby, and then when they see, oh, Fred Jones from the QRM company was here and he talked about something that I'm really, really interested in, they can just look right in the sessions listing for them and go there. In fact, they'll be listed in the expo section. They'll be able to find the companies there and click and go into their sponsored session from there.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yes, Mr. Drinkwater, you've been listening to us chat about Ray's event.
You're on, John.
So
the
video SDK, as Uncle was explaining, is a programmable version of the browser version of Zoom. And when you use that tool, you have two options. You can start the SDK with all the buttons that would be in the browser version of Zoom. Or you can then try and kick some of them out. Or you can start with an empty screen and you just choose what components you want. So if one was able, and Claude can't do it, so that's why I'm having to do it by hard code. But if one was able to master that, then you could have an exhibition version of Zoom customized for the client with the buttons to get into Zoom in the normal way. So it could do all the normal Zoomy stuff. But if you wanted to lose, well, I don't know, what would you, if you want to lose the share button because it wouldn't be applicable to a client, you could make it disappear. If you wanted to then add some extra buttons to get them into all these new extra sessions that you have, you could add buttons to it. So you could have a hot button that when pressed, it launched into a particular meeting or a particular webinar or a particular session. That's where I think we need to take Zoom. So frankly, I'm replacing Zoom with Zoom. I'm saying that we need to start thinking about stopping using the standard off-the-shelf Zoom client, and we need to start building Zoom clients of our own with our own rules, but we still use the infrastructure of Zoom to run all the events because we don't want to spend all the money building server farms. And I think if we do that, then Ray, the questions and the challenges that you've got with the way Zoom works start to disappear because we can write our own rules.
Well, I don't disagree with you, John, but I disagree with you on scale. How's that? I don't think that the average basic non-licensed user that uses Zoom just to go attend meetings and give the occasional, 5-minute presentation to their HOA or whatever, is really very interested in, oh, well, now I got to deinstall Zoom, but
No, you don't have to deinstall anything. You don't have to do anything. All you do is when you're going to the event creator has their own browser version of Zoom. And when you go to join that event, you run, instead of running your normal Zoom, you run their browser version of Zoom. Apart from that, everything stays the same. So all I'm doing is changing the package that you use to access.
Gotcha.
And I think it's one of those things that once I understand how to do it, and I know it's hard because I've heard of other people gone through the process. Once you have a template of how you build them, I think it'll be easy to, just keep spinning off different versions. So it'll be like rebranding.
Yeah. I see it a very definite use case for like a school system. We want to make sure that our teachers have a tool that they can use to control their classrooms and monitor their classrooms and administer tests and do all that sort of stuff. And we want to make it easy for all of the students to be able to get there. They just click on this link in My Class and it opens up the right thing in the browser, and they have a control, and it's very Zoom-like if they've ever used Zoom before or watched mom and dad use Zoom or whatever for the really young ones. But make it, here's the version that it opens for kindergarten through 5th grade, I don't know. And here's the one that's a little bit more advanced and that sort of thing. I see this being very applicable to the use case you said earlier about these anonymous groups who, need to be able to control who can do what and when. And if someone misbehaves, there's a very quick response and the ability to monitor who might be doing what that was really kind of against the group rules. I see niche cases where this fits magnificently, and I see my, huge, large group of nurses and everything going, I've got Zoom on my machine and I want to use my Zoom. I don't want to use another thing and have to learn it. Not that it's that much different, but yeah. What I don't see, I guess, and you're implying maybe, and maybe I'm reading too much implication into it, is Zoom can just stop producing their own app now because I've got the one that's better than that. It'll be better than that in multiple use case scenarios, I think, because as we've all said on occasion, and I probably say it more often than I should, Zoom's not that interested in the tier 0 level things. If you come up with something that really helps the anonymous groups, helps the small school systems, and help that sort of thing, they'll buy right into this sort of a thing, I think, and make the customized version available for their people, which will then start to drive some of that upward in the food chain into, the tier 1 and tier 2 people. I don't think the enterprise level people would probably ever go there, but that's just me and my, where I'm sitting at the moment. But eventually I might go, hey, John's got this thing, you ought to try it.
Yeah, come check this out. It's really cool. Psst, psst, psst. Yeah, exactly.
I'll show you my question thing next week.
The other thing that I think this would really be good for, John, is, people come into the Zoom community and go, I've got this problem. I want to be able to do this and I want to be able to do that. And you'll be able to go, well, I've got a thing that will do that for you. And, Zoom says, well, you can have the Zoom app, and if you go to the marketplace, you can get this thing. And if you go to the marketplace, you can get that thing. And if you use this add-on, if you get BMO Live and you get, now people don't want to go quite that complex, but if you had an app that would give them exactly what they're looking for, kind of configurable, that would win you some friends in, well, medium level places, maybe not high places.
I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah,
frankly.
Yeah, me too.
I think this AI to be able to make very, very simple, as we've had examples of today, very, very, very simple apps to work with Zoom. AI now makes that really possible. And the interesting thing, and I don't think I'm giving away any secrets saying this, Mike and I, we went to a developers group and I floated this and I thought I would get, guardrails thrown at me. But I got the complete opposite. They thought it's a brilliant idea because it's just, their view was it's just using Zoom in different ways. And
yeah,
that can only be good because you still pay the license for Zoom at the back end for using their servers, but you can customize the front end.
Yeah, you'll never have more than what you're paying as a license, developer or not. So to them, you're paying for the full capabilities of your license. And then at that particular point, because you're developing based on your full license, the capabilities that you've been paying for. Right now, to be fair, we're probably not using all of the capabilities that we could.
None of us are.
Right.
Right.
There's so many features in
complex
Zoom
a
now. None of
tool.
us use all of them. We're all underusing it, and they're banking on that.
Right.
So John, I have to ask this question for you. How
on,
do
then.
you get rewarded for this, other than the pleasure of knowing that people are using your app?
I can
Good
charge
question.
for software.
Yeah.
I can charge for apps. If I got an app that I think can, I mean, I've got an app that's illegal with Zoom. So there are things that I can do with Zoom that Zoom won't allow me to do, if you get what I mean. You know, I built an app to do something.
Yeah.
Zoom will never let me use it.
Well, they'll never let you load it in the marketplace, right?
They'll never let me use it. Yeah, I could use it. No, well, I think the way it's written, I can't use it at all. I mean, I've got an app that allows you to take payments in Stripe from within Zoom, and it works. I've used it, but it's actually against the policies of Zoom. So in the marketplace, yeah, you never get it approved in the marketplace, because they specifically say in the marketplace you can't have apps like that.
Yeah, I'll have to go read that part, because, yeah.
Because
Anyway.
they're worried about having a marketplace. You know, they're thinking of the marketplace of our, you know, Apple and Google, where you have these stupid little games, and then people pay money to use the stupid little games, and I think that's what they're aiming at. But it does say that you can't have any apps that
they're trying to do the fraud abatement, as we were talking about in security earlier. You know, we don't want someone coming in, you know, and then, you know, we've got a grandmother going, I spent my entire life savings on this app.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
that kind of
Whereas I'm trying to say, I want an app that I can run in webinars. So at the end of the webinar, I can say to you, Ray, if you want to sign up to the system, whatever it is, here's a link to the app. The app loads in Zoom. You can buy it, and then you can carry on your journey in the event, because you've bought a ticket for something, or you bought a course or something, or you've upgraded your purchase. But in the strict rules of Zoom at the moment, that's illegal. Doesn't mean I won't eventually find a way of Zoom allowing me to do it, if I can say that this is what I want it for, and this is how we work it. But out of the box, it's not allowed by Zoom.
Sure.
For obvious reasons. But there are lots of, there's lots, the number of things that the corporates are doing with Zoom is just mind-boggling. You know, the information they pull out of a webinar and then they put into their CRM to power how they're going to do marketing to all those people is really clever now. And you know, we've got this thing now where Simulive is really, I think they're doing a lot of Simulive. So you can now start a meeting as a Simulive, so you don't have to turn up for the first half hour maybe. And as Mike said, you can now schedule a poll. So when you turn up half an hour late to your own webinar, people have already been indoctrinated with all the introductions and everything, and they've even had a poll asking them, you know, are they going to buy or whatever, and you can then take over.
Yeah.
Or your sales team can take over at that point.
They've done a lot of really good stuff with Simulive. They've recently started where you can start your Simulive early.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got a client that runs a Simulive, and there's, you know, I made it very, very short. It's 2 minutes of intro music and that sort of stuff, but it starts right on the hour and then doesn't really start the presentation for 2 minutes. You'll be able to start the webinar 2 minutes early, and I'll be able to put in a 3-minute leader. So those people that don't really try to get there until right on time have a little time to kind of get in and get settled. The other part is you can stack 3 videos. So if you've got a sort of a leader bit, a presentation bit, and then a trailer bit, you can stack those 3 in there together. And then, yeah, those polls and quizzes, surveys, and I think surveys are included in that. Maybe not till after, but the interactive polls, yeah, make those really, really great for marketing and training as well.
Yeah, I'm going to start using those techniques, so I don't have to worry about turning up at the last minute.
Yeah.
And John's been using the Call Me feature, correct, John?
Oh, I love the Call Me feature. That is my favorite feature ever.
What's the Call Me feature?
You turn it on in the settings, and when you've got a scheduled meeting in your calendar, it comes up like a telephone call, and you just click it and you join the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I've been told off because I've missed one call this evening now because I didn't hit it.
There you go. Perfect. All right, guys, that was good.
And you can set it per machine.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have, it's not like you set it in your account and then all your machines that are logged in at that particular time phone you can set it per machine. And that's the bonus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Anything else, gang? Oh, and John's still trying to play with his auto tracking.
Don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's making me shorter and shorter now. I mean, it's just getting stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and
yes.
my Chinese knockoff replica destroyed my Stream Decks.
Destroyed your Stream Deck.
Destroyed my Stream Deck. My Stream Deck XL was bricked. I think it's the technical term you say nowadays. So it wouldn't start up. I thought, why is it? Is it a power issue because it's a Stream Deck XL and does need a lot of power? I thought, is it a power issue because it wouldn't boot up? And I've moved it all around all the machines. That's why I've disappeared for 5 minutes. I was putting all the machines, and eventually I managed to plug it into my Windows machine, and my Windows machine popped up and said, "Oh, you need this plugin, this plugin, this plugin." And what the Chinese ripoff had done is it had set the config of my Stream Deck XL to have all the extra plugins that it has in its ecosystem. And because this Mac doesn't have those plugins, it wouldn't start. So the only way I got it working was eventually I got the Windows machine to prompt me for all the plugins, put all the plugins in. It then prompted me with all these add-ins plugins, which are useless and stupid and I don't want. But I had to let it go through the process. And then I went in and deleted them, all of them, to reset it back to normal. And then I was able to use it again.
And then did you try plugging it into your Mac after that or no?
Yeah, it's in my Mac now and it's working fine.
And it's working fine. Wow. So the firmware within the actual unit forced you to do that before
so there seems to be something in the Stream Deck that even when you take it from one machine to another, it seems to be having a memory of what config is in the Stream Deck. Whereas I thought, naively, it seems now, I thought that it was controlled by what your Stream Deck software says. But this Stream Deck was pre-programmed by the Chinese knockoff over here, and when I took it over there, it wouldn't
John,
install.
What essentially happens is your Stream Deck becomes a client, and the program running on your Windows or Mac PC is the server, and so that client inside the Stream Deck has a little bit of ROM.
Yeah, and that's what the Chinese had done. It filled that that storage with the settings, which effectively bricked it until I was able to put it into a machine that actually installed the software it wanted and then told it off it shouldn't have it.
So they automatically are assuming you're using Windows.
No, they're assuming that you're using their device. And so when you plug in another device, which is a real Stream Deck, they then program it with what their device is supposed to be having installed in it.
Wow.
So they turned my Elgato Stream Deck into a hi Chinese box, whatever this is. Sumphon. So Sumphon, I'm not very impressed.
And so far, you're not impressed either. Yeah, I got it.
No.
Yeah, I got it. Wow, I'm not impressed either. Wow. Okay.
And of course, these people are all taking Elgato software and making their own rip-off versions of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's conflicting with the original, which is what's happened here.
Yeah.
But I still have some great quiz software. I do have some great quiz software.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else before we wrap it up? Speak now.
Not for me.
Not for me.
Nope.
And Mr. John is still trying to figure out that auto framing, and he's still bopping and weaving, but
I don't understand auto framing.
It's not his friend today. But the good news is that our YouTube archive was not affected by any echoing, John. So I'm just saying
that was good. That was good. That was
but
good.
it does look weird because we both think that everything is wrong at the beginning of the show, and nothing actually was to the YouTube audience. So that yeah, we might have to snip it a little bit in there, but anyway, but that's creative editing. But we did do it live, everybody. And speaking of live, since Fred joined us in YouTube chat, I'm going to give Fred's version as the.
And we've got Elliot next week.
Yes, that's right.
Elliot's with us. Elliot's with us on Tuesday, talking about telephones.
Yes, Zoom phone for all those interested. Elliot is one of our main gurus in the Zoom community. He's a Zoom community champion, and he's one of our guru go-tos that actually non-Zoomy related to ask about any kind of Zoom phone related questions. So definitely, if you get a chance and want to check us out, that is 3 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday with John, myself, and Elliot, all 3 Zoom community champions. All right, going out to Fred, the folk version of the Zoom Test Kitchen theme.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen, where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way.
All right. The folk version going out to Fred in YouTube. Thanks everyone for joining us this week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube and of course that lets Zoom know how much you love our content here that we do for you each Friday. And speaking of each Friday, we're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, and check your local time zones so that you can join us live. And to our Canadians out there, have a great Victoria Day long weekend. And I will wish our American friends that next week. So take care, everyone. Take care, everyone. And join us next week for another Zoom Test Kitchen. And for that, YouTube, take care and have a good weekend.